Just started university, and my beautiful tutor turns out to be the mother of my child. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 951. The wedding begins. Soon, the motorcade arrived at the gate of Zhang Yuxi's community. The security guard saw a line of luxury cars and did not dare to stop them. They let them pass directly. Then the motorcade arrived at the building where Zhang Yuxi lived. Lin Feng and Lin Wei got out of the car to pick up Zhang Yuxi, while the others waited in the car. After all, there were too many people to take the elevator. Dong dong dong. Lin Feng knocked on Zhang Yuxi's door with a little excitement. Catcha. The one who opened the door was Zhang Yuxi's mother, Zhao Lizhan. Zhao Lizhan said to Lin Feng with a smile on her face. Lin Feng, here I come. Yeah, auntie, I'm here to pick Yuxi up to the engagement banquet first. My friends are waiting downstairs. Lin Feng also said with a smile. Okay. Zhao Lizhan said 3 OKs in a row, which was enough to prove her happiness. Then Lin Wei sat on the sofa in the living room and waited for a while Lin Feng walked to the door of Zhang Yuxi's room. Knock, knock, knock. As Lin Feng knocked on the door, Zhang Yuxi's heart also started beating wildly. She opened the door shyly. Old husband, you're here. Lin Feng couldn't help but laugh as he watched Zhang Yuxi shyly calling him husband. Zhang Yuxi put on some makeup today, and her originally exquisite and beautiful face became even more beautiful. A flawless white dress still couldn't hide Zhang Yuxi's perfectly developed figure. Coupled with his somewhat shy voice, Lin Feng was completely stunned. Lin Feng hugged Zhang Yuxi into his arms, and the two of them were close together. Lin Feng lowered his head. After a while of tenderness, Lin Feng thought that people were still waiting, so he spoke softly and gently. Wife, let's go. Yet, Zhang Yuxi's little face was flushed, and she looked shy and lovely, and she answered weakly. Lin Feng gently pinched her face, and then the two walked out of the room hand in hand. As soon as Lin Wei saw the two, he immediately stood up from the sofa and said with a smile. Brother Feng, sister-in-law Yuxi, lovers finally get married. Congratulations. Zhang Yuxi smiled at Lin Wei and said. Thank you. Okay, let's go. Lin Feng waved his hand and said. Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's hand, followed by Lin Wei, and the three of them set off. Going downstairs, Lin Feng thoughtfully helped Zhang Yuxi open the car door, and after getting in the car, he gently helped her remember the seat belt. The two smiled at each other, their hearts filled with joy. Then Lin Feng started the car. The luxury car team set off in a mighty manner. Along the way, Lin Feng slowed down the speed of the car, and the entire team lined up in an orderly manner. There were passers-by watching and taking pictures along the way. Soon, everyone arrived at Yangcheng Hotel. A big photo of the two was placed at the entrance of the hotel. In the photo, the two showed a happy smile. Lin Feng was extremely handsome and Zhang Yuxi was beautiful. The two were like a pair of immortal lovers, envied by everyone. Today, the entire Yangcheng Hotel is closed to the public, and is only open for Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. This is what Lin Wei ordered. Anyway, it's not a big deal, just for the brothers' happiness. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi walked into the hotel hand in hand. And followed by Lin Wei and others, everyone's face was filled with smiles. This is for Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi's happiness. Soon everyone came to the engagement banquet hall. As soon as the door was opened, everyone was shocked by the scene in front of them. Zhang Yuxi covered her mouth with her hands, and was so surprised that she couldn't speak. This scene, she was very familiar. This is the scene she saw at Lin Feng's secret base when she went to the top of Qingchang Mountain with Lin Feng for the first time. Everything in front of her is almost a complete reproduction of the scene at that time. Is this the surprise that Lin Feng wants to give her? Zhang Yuxi felt a warm current in her heart, and she was so moved that she wanted to cry at this moment. Lin Feng, this fool. She felt that she was really happy. And the people behind were also shocked by the scene in front of them. This is too beautiful. It was a perfect scene from a fairy tale. It was too realistic. Then everyone secretly wrote it down, and asked which planning company did it later, and they would look for them when they get married in the future. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's shocked expression with a smile on his face. Lin Wei looked at the people behind him with a smug look on his face. He had contributed to everything in front of him. He thought shamelessly. Then everyone found a place to sit down, drinking tea, waiting for others to arrive. Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi to the dressing room behind the stage. The makeup artist had been waiting for the two of them here. Zhang Yuxi was originally beautiful and didn't need much makeup. In addition, she had put on some makeup this morning, so she didn't need it at all, so the makeup artist helped her redo her hair. Lin Feng sat aside and let the makeup artist take care of him. After all, he didn't do anything himself, although he was also very handsome, but after the makeup artist slightly embellished and helped him deal with his hair, he connected long hair similar to ancient times. Then Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi changed into the hanfu that Lin Feng had customized before. The two stood together, dressed in white like snow, with long hair fluttering. Just like a pair of immortal lovers falling into the mortal world. Just as the two were preparing, people who came to the engagement banquet hall arrived one after another. Everyone who came was shocked by the scene on the scene. It was so beautiful! Exclamation mark. This was everyone's first thought. What followed was envy. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi's parents had already arrived. The four of them were busy receiving everyone. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi's relatives came. Even Zhang Yuxi's grandmother was picked up by his uncle and looked at the scene in front of her with a smile on her face. Congratulations were heard everywhere. The scene was very lively. Everyone's face was filled with happy smiles. At this time, the classmates in Lin Feng's class also came to the engagement banquet hall under the leadership of the class teacher. It seemed that they came by appointment. At the same time, the classmates in Zhang Yuxi's class also came under the leadership of their class teacher. The hotel is relatively large, and there are stairs in all directions. Under the guidance of the hotel staff, the two classes went upstairs from different directions, completely unaware of what was happening. So a group of about 100 people met at the entrance of the banquet hall. The head teachers of the two classes looked at each other and then smiled at each other. What a coincidence! As soon as they stepped into the engagement banquet hall, everyone was shocked. Everyone stared with their eyes wide open. Silence. Silence. After a while, groups of 3 or 2 started to chatter and discuss. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. This layout. Yes, it's so beautiful. Wow, it's just like a fairy tale, so beautiful. Chapter 952, The immortal couple landed on Earth. Soon, the time came to 10 o'clock. The MC who was in charge of the engagement ceremony walked up to the stage slowly with a microphone in hand. She held up the microphone and said to everyone present, "Dear guests, dear friends. Hello everyone. Welcome to the engagement ceremony of Mr. Lin Feng and Ms. Zhang Yuxi today. I am honored to be invited to be the host of this engagement ceremony today. Here, I would like to especially thank Mr. Lin Feng and Ms. Zhang Yuxi for their trust in me and entrusting me with this important task. By the way, are you shocked by the scene layout? When I first arrived and walked into the door, I was stunned. It was so beautiful. I have been an MC for so many years, and this may be the most beautiful engagement scene I have ever seen. It is said that the scene layout was all designed by Mr. Lin Feng himself for Ms. Zhang Yuxi. Wow! When I heard the news, I was extremely envious. The love between Mr. Lin Feng and Ms. Zhang Yuxi is really enviable. I also want such a beautiful engagement ceremony. It's a pity that I'm already married, ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. The MC's words made the people in the audience laugh. I see everyone is eager to see the newlyweds. Okay, I won't waste any more words. Next, let's welcome Mr. Lin Feng and Ms. Zhang Yuxi with the warmest applause. Boom. Pa 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 pa. The applause rang out like thunder. Swish. The lights in the entire engagement banquet hall suddenly dimmed. Only the few starlights on the ceiling were focused on the center of the stage. The warm lights emanated from the star-shaped lamps, as if you were really in a starry sky. Then white smoke slowly rose and evaporated on the stage. In the hazy fog, under the starry sky, under the white mist, the grass was filled with the fragrance of various flowers, and butterflies were dancing. It was like a fairyland in front of people's eyes, beautiful beyond words. Everyone held their breath, fearing that they would destroy the fairyland in front of them and disturb the immortals. Suddenly, 2 figures appeared in the mist, one dressed in white, with long hair fluttering, looming in the white mist, like a pair of immortal lovers descending from the starry sky to the mortal world. The white mist slowly dissipated, and the figures of Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi gradually became clear. The two were dressed in white clothes that were whiter than snow, with long hair fluttering, like exiled immortals. Lin Feng sat cross-legged on the ground, with a black guqin in front of him, faintly emitting a faint green, like green vines entwined on an ancient tree. The night sky was dotted with stars, the ground was covered with green grass, butterflies were flying, and a few white rabbits were eating grass on the side. Zhang Yuxi smiled and looked at Lin Feng, her eyes full of love. This scene amazed everyone. Undoubtedly, they were a pair of immortal lovers. Stop. Lin Feng plucked the strings of the guqin with his 5 fingers. A crisp sound resounded throughout the engagement banquet hall. Then he placed his 10 fingers on the guqin and plucked the strings quickly. Sometimes the scattered sound was loose and deep, making people think of ancient times. Sometimes the overtones were like the sound of nature, with a sense of coolness and immortality. Sometimes the pressed notes were very rich, and the lingering rhyme under the fingers was subtle and long, sometimes like human language, which could be used for dialogue, and sometimes like the mood of the human heart, ethereal and changeable. Everyone in the entire engagement banquet hall was immersed in it. The sound of the guqin, like the gurgling water, made people calm. If you taste it carefully, it is as crisp as the sound of the autumn water falling in the deep mountains, without any noise. If you close your eyes, it feels like the moon in a sunny day without any clouds. When the accent is like the sound of water waves in the mountains without any noise. The music that sounded was as realistic as the echo of the valley. I don't know if you can understand the guqin. Everyone present heard their own life and their own thoughts from the sound of the guqin. Everyone's perception is different. Some people miss their lost youth, and some people look forward to the scenery of the future. But more people could hear that the lover who had been waiting for them for a long time was whispering in their ears. The entire banquet hall, hundreds of people, were all intoxicated and didn't know the way home. Zhang Yuxi squatted on the ground, she held up her hands, and looked at Lin Feng seriously. There was no trace of anything else in her eyes except love. After a long time, many people in the audience were already in tears. Among them was Uncle Zhou, the owner of Zidane Pavilion, whom Lin Feng had met the day before. He closed his eyes tightly, tears sliding from the corners of his eyes, as if he saw the pictures of his ancestor Zhou Wenjin and Sima Xiangru playing the zither in harmony. And what Lin Feng was playing at this time was Sima Xiangru's famous song, Feng Chu Wang. And the zither he played was the Love Key Guqin, which Uncle Zhou had brought just now. After a long time, Lin Feng's fingertips slid over the strings, and the sound of the zither slowly stopped. But the piano music still echoed in the entire engagement banquet hall, like the legendary lingering sound, which could not be dispersed for a long time. Lin Feng slowly opened his closed eyes, and saw Zhang Yuxi holding her chin with both hands and looking at him lovingly. Lin Feng smiled gently. This smile was like 100 flowers blooming, making the world lose its color. Zhang Yuxi also smiled sweetly and responded to Lin Feng's smile. The eyes of the two were full of love, and they also felt each other's hearts. So, love is sometimes so simple, I know it with just one look from you. Then Lin Feng looked at everyone and spoke softly. A song of phoenix seeking phoenix, dedicated to my fiancée, Zhang Yuxi. Unswerving in this life until death, I don't envy mandarin ducks or immortals. Please be a witness today. Lin Feng's voice was not loud. At this moment, because the entire engagement banquet hall was extremely quiet, everyone was still quietly enjoying the taste of the lingering sound. I'm afraid that at this time, even the sound of a needle falling to the ground can be heard clearly, let alone Lin Feng's voice. Then, everyone in the audience woke up from their own world one after another. They looked at Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi on the stage, because they were all extremely envious. The most beautiful love is nothing more than this. Then, someone took the lead in applauding. 1, 2, 3. Pa 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 pa. The applause was deafening like a tidal wave. Lin Feng smiled at everyone. Then, with a swish, smoke rose on the stage, and the smoke gradually obscured the figures of Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's hand and disappeared from everyone's sight. After a while, the smoke dissipated, and it seemed as if Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi had never appeared on the stage. It seemed that the two of them really were the immortal couple who had temporarily landed on the earth and flew away in an instant. Chapter 953 Jejo appears. Everyone was still immersed in the scene just now. Such a scene was really amazing. At this time, the host of the engagement ceremony walked onto the stage again. Wonderful. It's really amazing. Dear guests, dear friends, are you all amazed? This song Feng Chu Wang, with this scene, is really a perfect match. Everyone in the audience responded. Mr. Lin Feng and Ms. Zhang Yuxi are really like a fairy couple. This love is really enviable from the bottom of my heart. It is said that this song Feng Chu Wang is the second surprise that Mr. Lin Feng prepared for Ms. Zhang Yuxi. I think all the unmarried girls present also want to have such a dreamy engagement ceremony. Such a dreamlike scene can probably only be seen in movies. I didn't expect it to happen right now. This scene is so magical. Outsiders watch the excitement, insiders see the doorway. Many people just think that Lin Feng's Feng Chu Wang was played well and sounds very nice. But that was all. They couldn't hear the trick of this song. They were just shocked that Lin Feng could do this. It was really awesome. The owner of Zhang Pavilion, Mr. Zhou, was shocked. Lin Feng's song had reached the pinnacle. The scene matched the mood, just like Sima Xiangru reappeared. Some people had already secretly recorded the video and shared it on their friends' circle at this moment. They couldn't just be shocked themselves, but also shock others. But they didn't expect that their move would then cause a big earthquake in the entire Chinese music industry. Then, the host continued. Let us once again warmly welcome Mr. Lin Feng and Ms. Zhang Yuxi, the newlyweds, to make a shining debut again. The lights shone, and Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi slowly rose from the middle of the stage hand in hand. This time, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi had taken off their ancient-style fairy-like outfits just now. At this moment, Lin Feng changed into the custom-made suit, and Zhang Yuxi changed into the evening dress. The two of them instantly transformed from the fairy couple just now into princes and princesses. They are still so perfect. It was just a little more worldly than before. Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi's hand and slowly walked to the front of the stage. At this moment, Lin Feng was tall and handsome, and Zhang Yuxi was beautiful. The two were just like the prince and princess from a fairy tale. Lin Feng took the microphone handed over by the MC, looked at the people in the audience and slowly spoke. Thank you all for coming to my engagement party with Yuxi. The previous ones were all surprises for Yuxi. Next, I will give everyone a surprise. Lin Feng had just finished speaking. Everyone in the audience whispered, especially the classmates from Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi's class. After all, they are young people. Wow, we actually have a surprise too. It won't be a big red envelope for each of us, right? Damn. What the hell do you want? I'm actually looking forward to it. Yes. After all, the surprise he prepared for Yuxi is so beautiful and enviable. There were also girls who were quietly discussing. Meanwhile, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi's parents were watching the two holding hands, smiling and very satisfied. This kid, he couldn't do anything wrong. In particular, they didn't know that Lin Feng could play the guqin. This is an extremely elegant art. Zhao Lizian was getting more and more satisfied looking at Lin Feng. Lin Feng was tall, handsome, had good grades, and was very good at making money. Most importantly, he was very good to Zhang Yuxi. This made her extremely happy for her daughter, and she found a good man. When the audience quieted down a little, Lin Feng slowly spoke. Next, I would like to invite a good friend and brother from Taiwan to sing a song for everyone. Everyone, give a warm welcome. After that, Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi's hand and walked to the side of the stage. After Lin Feng finished speaking, everyone was a little confused. Is this a surprise? Question mark. What kind of surprise is this? Exclamation mark. But everyone still gave Lin Feng face and applauded. After all, today is the day of Raymond Lam's engagement, so we still have to give him some face. Clang. The lights of the entire engagement party suddenly went out. Then, before everyone could react, they lit up again. Along with it, a voice full of Taiwan accent reached everyone's ears. Oh, not bad. Everyone looked at the center of the stage, only to see a man slowly rising from the stage. Everyone was shocked. It was the young people present again. Boom. Wow. Oh my god. Fuck. Joe. What the hell, am I dreaming? Someone shouted. This scene was no less exciting than when Raymond Lam played the Phoenix, Seeking the Phoenix just now. After all, they didn't quite understand the Phoenix Seeking the Phoenix played by Raymond Lam. But Joe was different. He was definitely a big star. How many of the young people present didn't know him? JJ. Suddenly a scream rang out, and Joe was startled. Oh, the friends over there are so enthusiastic. Oh, that's great. Joe said his signature words again. Now everyone was sure. Oh my god. It's really Joe. Awesome. This is really a big surprise. Jeju then spoke. I'm very happy to meet you all here today. I'm also very happy to be here to attend the engagement banquet of my good brother Raymond Lam. As soon as Jeju said this, everyone in the audience was excited. Oh my god. Raymond Lam is Jeju's good brother. I surrender. Raymond Lam is the god forever. Oh my god. Brother Feng. Awesome. Awesome in capital letters. Everyone shouted. And Lin Deshan, Joe Killen and the others were also a little confused. When did this kid Raymond Lam have a celebrity friend? They were a little confused. And seeing all those young people so excited, they were a little puzzled. There was nothing they could do, the generation gap. Then, Jeju continued to speak. Since we are here, we must sing. Ah. Woo woo woo. The audience screamed. Next, to make everyone more excited, this song Simple Love is dedicated to everyone. Also dedicated to my good brother Lin Feng and his fiancée Yuxi. I know how deep their love is. I ate a lot of dog food from them before. Ha ha ha. Jeju's words made everyone laugh. Okay, no more nonsense. Music. Chapter 954 College Entrance Examination Results Check Day. Ding ding ding. Accompanied by the sound of music accompaniment. Jeju slowly put the microphone to his lips and began to sing softly. I can't say why, I became very proactive. If I fall in love with someone, everything is worth doing. I want to announce loudly that I can't bear to leave you. Even the neighbors next door can guess how I feel now. The young people in the audience hummed along. Everyone come together. Woohoo. Jeju shouted to the crowd in the audience. The wind by the river is blowing my hair, fluttering. Holding your hand, I feel inexplicably moved. I want to take you back to my grandmother's house and watch the sunset together until we both fall asleep. I want to hold your hand like this and never let go. Can love be pure and without sadness forever? Everyone who can sing in the entire engagement banquet hall sang along, forming a chorus. I want to hold your hand like this and never let go. Can love be simple and without hurt? You lean on my shoulder, you fall asleep on my chest, a life like this, I love you, you love me. La la la. Thank you. Soon the song was over, and the song brought everyone's emotions up. After the song was over, everyone still felt that they hadn't finished yet. Oh, not bad. Actually, let me tell you a secret. My brother Raymond Lam is a great singer, much better than me. Do you want to hear it? Jeju said to the audience. Yes. Yes? Then he should stop singing. Otherwise he will outdo me. Ha ha ha. Jeju said funny. Ha ha ha. Everyone in the audience laughed. Jeju actually has such a funny side. And today's engagement party was not in vain. Exclamation mark. There were a series of surprises. Then, Jeju was heard to speak again. Next, let's return the stage to my good brother Raymond Lam and his fiancée Ms. Zhang Yuxi. After saying that, Jeju walked to the corner of the stage and vacated the stage for Raymond Lam and Zhang Yuxi. Raymond Lam held Zhang Yuxi's hand, and the two walked to the center of the stage again. At this time, the Mick also walked to the front of the stage and said to everyone, everyone has received the surprise, and the engagement ceremony will continue. Now we will enter the engagement ceremony, where the newlyweds will exchange engagement rings. And Mr. Raymond Lam has prepared the last surprise for Ms. Zhang Yuxi. The music started, and the big screen on the stage lit up. The screen played bits and pieces of Raymond Lam and Zhang Yuxi's daily life, including photos of Raymond Lam from childhood to adulthood, photos of Zhang Yuxi from childhood to adulthood, and those group photos taken from time to time after the two were together, as well as those beautiful photos taken when the two traveled. These photos will eventually converge into 3 words. I love you. Zhang Yuxi covered her mouth, and was so moved that tears could not help but flow down. It turned out that Raymond Lam, this fool, actually did these things secretly. Really? You made me cry in front of so many people. Lin Feng gently took Zhang Yuxi into his arms and said softly, be good, don't cry, there are still many days to come, these are just the little things in ordinary days. If you cry like this, you will be moved to tears every day in the future, little fool. The people in the audience were also moved by the scene in front of them. The relationship between these two people is so good. It's really enviable. Exclamation mark. I also want a sweet love. Exclamation mark. Afterwards, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi exchanged engagement rings in front of everyone. The ceremony was over. From then on, the two officially became an engaged couple. Under the encouragement and witness of the crowd, The two kissed for a long time. After the engagement ceremony, it was almost noon and the banquet officially began. Everyone ate and talked, toasted, talked and laughed, and everyone's face was filled with smiles. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi held hands and toasted at each table. Congratulations, congratulations. Congratulations were heard everywhere. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi, led by Lin Deshan, came to a table of relatives. Lin Deshan introduced them with a smile on his face. Yuxi, this is Lin Feng's uncle. Hello, uncle. Zhang Yuxi called out sweetly. Good. 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 Yuxi is so beautiful. Lin Feng is lucky. Lin Feng's uncle said with a smile. Oh, uncle, I'm not bad looking either, okay. Lin Feng said with a shameless smile. Ha ha ha. Yes, yes. You kid. Everyone was amused by Lin Feng. After toasting Lin Feng's relatives, the two, led by Zhao Lizhen, walked to the table of Zhang Yuxi's uncle and others. Lin Feng, this is Yuxi's uncle and second uncle, you two toast them a glass. Zhao Lizhen also had a smile on her face. Hello, uncle and second uncle. Lin Feng shouted with a smile on his face. Yes, you two little guys, get along well in the future. Zhang Yuxi's uncle and second uncle also said with a smile. After toasting the relatives, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi came to the circle of classmates. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi walked in front of the two class teachers. Lin Feng said with a smile. Teacher Chen, thank you for coming to my and Yuxi's engagement party today. You kid. A few months ago, you confessed to Zhang Yuxi in front of the whole school. Everyone thought it was a joke at the time. I didn't expect that it has only been a short time, and you two are engaged. It's really unpredictable. He-song said with some emotion. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi looked at each other. Suddenly remembered that he did cause a lot of trouble to his class teacher, He-song, at that time, so he said with a smile. Haha, I caused trouble to teacher He at that time. Sorry. He-song waved his hand casually. Haha, now that I see you two are engaged, I just feel a little emotional. You two should get along well in the future. Lin Feng, you kid, don't bully Zhang Yuxi. Ha ha ha. No, I love Yuxi so much, how could I bully her? Don't worry. Zhang Yuxi's head teacher looked at the two people's happiness and smiled with satisfaction. Zhang Yuxi is a beautiful student with good academic performance. She has always been paying attention to her. Several people chatted and laughed. Then, Lin Feng raised his glass and said to the classmates with a smile. Classmates, there are too many people, so I won't toast to everyone one by one. Thank you all for coming to my engagement party with Yuxi today. Without further ado, it's all in this glass of wine. After Lin Feng finished speaking, he drank the wine in his hand. Okay. You're welcome. Thank you Brother Feng for inviting me. Male god and goddess. You two should be happy. Hundreds of classmates spoke one after another. Then, someone suddenly spoke. Teacher. By the way, is today the day to check the college entrance examination results? He-song suddenly remembered, yes, today is the day when the college entrance examination results are released. He still remembered it this morning, but he was so shocked by Lin Feng's series of big scenes just now that he forgot it. He hurriedly shouted to his classmates. Yes. You can check the college entrance examination results today. You can check by phone or text message, or log into the website with your mobile phone to check. I'll post a query method in the group now. If you want to check, you can check it now. Getting a good result can also be regarded as an engagement gift to Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. He-song said with a smile. Chapter 955, Top Scorer in College Entrance Examination. Zhang Yuxi's head teacher also said the same thing, and sent the query method to the class group. The students present were a little excited, especially when they heard He-song say that checking a good score would be a way to cheer up Lin Feng. Ha ha ha, then I'll go first. A boy said with a smile. After that, he chose to check by phone and turned on the hands-free. Welcome to call the college entrance examination score inquiry system. Please enter the admission ticket number according to the voice prompts and end with the key. Then the boy quickly entered his admission ticket number. About 30 seconds later, candidate Luo Zihui, Chinese 130, Mathematics 110, Science Comprehensive 210, English 125, total score 575. Everyone present heard the score reading sound coming from the mobile phone. Boom. Okay. Zihui, 575 points. Definitely a first-class place. Congratulations. Congratulations, congratulations. Hearing the congratulations of his classmates, the boy named Luo Zihui also smiled. He was quite satisfied with this result. He saw that the students in his class had good grades, so he smiled happily. With someone taking the lead, everyone started to check. After a while of checking, although the scores were different, most people got the scores they were satisfied with. As for those whose scores were not so good, they were prepared in their hearts, so there was no such thing as unhappiness. Everyone was still smiling. At this time, someone suggested that classmate Lin Feng had not checked his scores yet. Should we check it too? With Lin Feng's previous scores, it should not be bad, so let's double the joy. Yes. Yes. Let's also admire the results of the great god. Happy. Everyone responded. Seeing that everyone was so enthusiastic, Lin Feng had to borrow the mobile phone of the class owner Hisong, and made a call to start checking. Beep beep. Everyone was nervously looking forward to it, and didn't know what kind of score the great god Lin Feng would get this time. Finally, the call was connected. Welcome to call the college entrance examination score inquiry system. Please enter the admission ticket number according to the voice prompts and end with the key. Lin Feng entered the admission ticket number in his memory. Everyone's heart was tense and expectant, staring at the movements of Lin Feng's hands. The movement here also attracted the attention of everyone in the entire engagement banquet hall. Everyone gathered around and looked curiously. At this time, the familiar mechanical female voice came from the mobile phone. Candidate Lin Feng, Chinese 150, Mathematics 150, Science Comprehensive 300, English 150, total score 750. When the scores were reported on the mobile phone, everyone was shocked and speechless. Everyone opened their mouths slightly, but could not make the slightest sound. Silence. Silence. Everyone in the entire engagement banquet hall was shocked, and it was extremely quiet. After a while, boom. Wow. The entire engagement banquet hall was boiling instantly. Exclamation mark. Oh my god. Wow. Awesome. Another full score. This is fucking, he must be the top scorer in the national college entrance examination, right? Lin Feng looked at the expressions of everyone and smiled, but did not speak. For this result, Lin Feng was expected. The questions in this college entrance examination were simpler than those in the last citywide examination. So it was no surprise that Lin Feng got full marks. But only Lin Feng knew this. In the eyes of everyone, Lin Feng got full marks again, and this time it was the college entrance examination. Since the college entrance examination papers of Huaxia country are unified across the country, Lin Feng got full marks this time, which is equivalent to standing out from hundreds of millions of candidates and winning the national college entrance examination champion. Period. This is really awesome. Lin Feng's parents, Lin Dashan and Zhou Qilan, were all very happy. This is even more awesome than the last time he got first place in the city. From now on, you can tell everyone that you are the parents of Lin Feng, the national college entrance examination champion. The class owner Hisong was also very excited. The class he led had a national college entrance examination champion. Although it is not known whether there are still people in the country who have scored full marks, even if someone has scored full marks, at most they will be tied for first place, and Lin Feng is still the undisputed champion of the college entrance examination. How could Hisong not be excited? Congratulations! Today is your engagement party, and it is also the day you get the top score in the college entrance examination. It's a double happiness. Awesome. Brother Feng. The top scorer in the national college entrance examination is actually my classmate. I can brag about this for the rest of my life. Brother Feng, I will always be your god. Everyone congratulated Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at everyone and smiled, then he looked at Zhang Yuxi, and saw that her eyes were also full of excitement and happiness. Zhang Yuxi held Lin Feng's hand and tightened it slightly. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi, the little fool, and felt funny in his heart. This little fool, look how happy she is. At this moment, the class leader Hisong's cell phone rang. Lin Feng handed the phone back to him. Hisong took the phone handed over by Lin Feng and saw that it was the principal calling. He quickly picked up the phone. Hello, Principal Wang, what can I do for you? Principal Wang on the other end of the phone was also in a very good mood at the moment. Just now, the Municipal Education Bureau called and told him that their school had a top scorer in the National College Entrance Examination. They congratulated him and asked him to prepare for interviews and other things. Principal Wang smiled and said, "Zhao, congratulations. Your classmate Lin Feng won the top scorer in the National College Entrance Examination this time. And he is the only one in the country with full marks. The Education Bureau asked us to prepare for interviews with the reporters. You should also prepare." "Okay. Principal Wang, I know, I will arrange it," He-song said happily. Lin Feng is the only one with full marks. He deserves the title of the top scorer in the National College Entrance Examination. After He-song hung up the phone, he told everyone excitedly that it was Principal Wang who called, and told everyone that reporters would come to the school for interviews tomorrow. Everyone was very excited and happy for Lin Feng. Then He-song looked at Lin Feng with a complicated face. This guy refused the school's recommendation for admission to Tsinghua and Peking University, and said at the time that if he wanted to go, he could take the exam again. Unexpectedly, it was really as he said. It's that simple. Awesome. Losing a recommendation from Peking University and Tsinghua University, in exchange for a top scorer in the National College Entrance Examination. On the day of the engagement party, the top scorer in the college entrance examination, double happiness. The highlight of life. Then Lin Feng smiled. Looking at Zhang Yuxi, he spoke softly and gently. "Wife, you should check your grades too." Lin Feng was very confident in Zhang Yuxi's grades. Zhang Yuxi worked so hard some time ago, and with the information he sorted out for her, her grades must be good. Zhang Yuxi smiled and looked at Lin Feng and nodded. Chapter 956 Planning to go to the capital. Everyone looked over curiously. Zhang Yuxi's original grades were the best in the whole grade. I wonder how many points she can get in the college entrance examination this time? Everyone was looking forward to it. So He-song handed over his mobile phone again. Lin Feng dialed the college entrance examination results inquiry number. And Zhang Yuxi's admission ticket number. Lin Feng had already memorized it. Then he helped Zhang Yuxi enter the admission ticket number according to the prompts. Soon the exciting moment came. The familiar mechanical female voice came from the mobile phone again. Candidate Zhang Yuxi, Chinese 148, Mathematics 150, Comprehensive Liberal Arts 290, English 150, total score 738. Hiss. Everyone present gasped. This result. And Zhang Yuxi's head teacher, Teacher Chen, was smiling so hard that her mouth was about to crack. She was so happy in her heart. Just now, she saw He-song's excitement and was extremely envious. Now, Zhang Yuxi in her class also got such a high score. She felt that she was going to be so happy. At this time, everyone present came back to their senses. Oh my god. A goddess is still a goddess after all. This result. Woohoo, I am not even close to the goddess. Yuxi, you are amazing. Goddess, what did you two eat to grow up? Do you want us to live like this? Woohoo. At this time, the phone of Zhang Yuxi's head teacher, Teacher Chen, also rang. Hello, yes. Okay. After Teacher Chen hung up the phone, she looked at everyone with a smile on her face. She slowly spoke. Classmates, I have good news for you. The call just now was from Principal Wang. He told me. Our classmate Zhang Yuxi won the Provincial Liberal Arts Champion in this college entrance examination. Everyone, congratulate Zhang Yuxi. Oh my god, this. The couple, one is the national champion in the college entrance examination, and the other is the provincial champion in liberal arts. I can't find any adjectives anymore. Lin Feng is the national champion in the college entrance examination, and Zhang Yuxi is the provincial champion in liberal arts. Today is their engagement day. This is really. 3 good things have happened. Lin Feng gently pulled Zhang Yuxi in front of him. He stretched out his hand and pinched Zhang Yuxi's little nose, and spoke softly and tenderly. My dear wife, it's great. You did well in the exam this time. Under the gaze of everyone, Zhang Yuxi's face flushed. She looked at Lin Feng with a blushing face and said shyly. That's all thanks to my husband's tutoring. I can do so well in the exam. Then the two looked at each other and laughed. Hehe. Seeing that the two ignored everyone. Everyone present was speechless for a moment. This wave of dog food. It's a sin. These two couples don't give people a way to live. At this time, Jejo in the corner looked at Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng showing off their love again. He felt a little bitter in his heart. When can he get revenge? 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The engagement banquet soon ended in laughter and joy. The class owner He Song and the classmates also left one after another. Many relatives and friends were happy. Nothing else. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi are so great, and they have made all the relatives proud. Huh? Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi accompanied their parents, and after seeing off the last wave of people, they breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, they were done. The two looked at each other and laughed. This day was very tiring, but they were still very happy. The two finally officially became an engaged couple. Lin Dashan and his wife, Zhang Fuiong and his wife, the four of them looked at Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi, and they were also very happy. The two little guys were happy, and they were satisfied. After all this, Zhang Fuiong and Zhao Lizhen prepared to go back. According to the customs of the Magic City, Zhang Yuxi had to stay at Lin Feng's house for 3 days after the engagement, and then go home after 3 days. It means that Zhang Yuxi is Lin Feng's family. For such customs, both families don't care. After all, it's what era, and both sides are relatively open-minded people, and they don't care about these things. Anyway, as long as Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi are happy, it's fine. But we should still respect this young couple and give them some space to spend time together. So Zhang Yuxi went home with Lin Feng. After returning home, Lin Feng slumped down on the sofa. The engagement was finally over, and it was a success. Lin Feng was completely relaxed at this time. Zhou Qilin and Zhang Yuxi went to the kitchen to wash fruits and make tea. The two of them were talking and laughing in the kitchen, just like a real family, incomparably harmonious. Lin Dashan glanced at Lin Feng, who was slumped on the sofa, feeling a little helpless. This kid, who is already engaged, doesn't even sit properly. In his eyes, this stinky boy Lin Feng is still a child after all. Seeing his father looking at him unhappily, Lin Feng sat up straight in a hurry, fearing that he would be scolded. Seeing him like that, Lin Dashan rolled his eyes at him and said, "In the future, don't bully Yuxi. Get along well with each other. Do you hear me?" "Oh, Dad, don't worry, I know," Lin Feng said casually. In fact, it goes without saying that Lin Feng will be good to Zhang Yuxi. After all, Lin Feng really loves Zhang Yuxi. In this life, the two of them can finally be together, and he cherishes it very much. Afterwards, Zhou Qilin and Zhang Yuxi came out of the kitchen with fruits. The family sat on the sofa and chatted. Lin Dashan thought about it and suddenly spoke with a serious face. "Lin Feng, Yuxi, your college entrance examination results are out. Have you two thought about which university to go to? Although with your grades, there is basically no problem going to any university in the country. However, it doesn't mean that the more famous the school, the better. It still depends on what major you want to study." Although Lin Dashan has no chance to go to college, he still has research on these. Zhou Qilin also looked at the two with curiosity. She and Lin Dashan are both relatively open-minded people. Regarding the choice of school and major, they still want to respect the decisions of Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. After all, if they are not relatively open-minded people, if Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi want to get engaged at this age, they will definitely not allow it. What Lin Dashan asked was what they had just discussed with Zhang Yuxi's parents. Since Zhang Yuxi was here, they brought it up together. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi saw that Lin Dashan looked serious. So they looked at each other, and Zhang Yuxi nodded. Lin Feng spoke slowly. "Dad, Mom. We two plan to go to Beijing, to Peking University and Tsinghua University. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels." Chapter 957, The Unknown Secret. This was something that Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi had discussed on the way to travel. They agreed that if their grades were good, they would go to Beijing together. They wanted to experience the cultural heritage of Chinese history. When Lin Feng said this, Zhou Qilin's hand that was eating fruit suddenly paused, and Lin Dashan also suddenly fell silent. Seeing that the two looked a little strange, Lin Feng felt a little strange. "Dad, Mom? What's wrong?" Lin Feng asked softly. Zhou Qilin came back to her senses, looked at Lin Feng with an evasive look and said, Silly child, it's okay. Mom is going to the bathroom, you guys chat first." After saying that, Zhou Qilin got up and left. And Lin Dashan sighed in his heart. What was supposed to come finally came. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were a little confused at this time. What's going on? Question mark? I don't seem to have said anything. I just said I was going to Beijing. So Lin Feng looked at Lin Dashan and said with some confusion. Dad, what's wrong? What's going on? Ah. He looked at Lin Feng with a complicated look, and then sighed. Dad, don't just sigh, tell me, what's going on? Lin Feng said anxiously. This old dad is going to be so anxious. Lin Dashan looked in the direction of the bathroom, and then looked at Lin Feng. In the end, he still planned to tell Lin Feng about this matter that he had kept in his heart for nearly 20 years. He looked at Lin Feng and spoke softly. This matter is a bit complicated. It starts with your mother's family. Lin Feng heard it, yes. It seems that he has never seen his parents mention things like his grandparents. It was the same in his previous life. After his parents passed away one after another, until the moment he died in a car accident, he seemed to have never heard of his mother's family. And today, when he was engaged, only relatives from his father's side came. There was no one from his mother's family, and he had never heard of them. From childhood to adulthood, he has been used to it for so many years, and he was so careless that he ignored this. Now it seems that there are some unknown secrets in this. Then he and Zhang Yuxi looked at each other, both of them were full of doubts. Then Lin Dashan said, your mother's family is in Beijing. Back then, your mother insisted on marrying your father, but your grandfather disagreed. However, your mother secretly took out her household registration booklet and got a marriage certificate with your father. When your grandfather found out, he was furious and severed the father-daughter relationship with your mother. He even ordered that even your uncles and others not be allowed to have any contact with your mother. Once he finds out, the father-son relationship will be severed as well. So, your mother followed me back to my hometown, and finally came to Shanghai. Your mother likes the human touch in Shanghai, so our family finally settled down in Shanghai. Speaking of this, it's actually your father's fault that I'm useless. That's why your grandfather and others look down on me. Although I set up a small advertising company through my own efforts, it hasn't made any progress or improvement over the years. So it's your father who is sorry for your mother and made her suffer. Just then Jo Killen came out of the bathroom. She looked at Lin Dashan and said angrily, Old Lin, what are you talking about? How have you wronged me in these years? Oh, wife, I'm useless, I'm sorry. Lin Dashan looked at Jo Killen and said. Jo Killen walked over and said to Lin Dashan, Old Lin, if you say that again, I'll be really angry. I know how you treated me these years. You've done a good job and you haven't wronged me. As for them, let them be. Aren't we living a good life now? We don't lack money now. Lin Feng is also engaged to Yuxi. The days to come will get better and better. Jo Killen looked at the few people and said. Period. At this time, Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's hand and spoke softly to his father Lin Dashan. Dad, Mom is right. Our future will be better and better. As for the matter of Mom's family, I will solve it when I have the ability. He actually treated Mom and our family like this. I don't care who he is. Sooner or later, I will make him pay the corresponding price. Seeing that Lin Feng seemed a little angry. He was afraid that Lin Feng would do something stupid. Jo Killen hurriedly spoke. Son, don't be impulsive. The matter is not as serious as your dad said. In fact, I have been in contact with your uncle all these years. Huh? How come I don't know about this? Lin Dashan said in shock. Jo Killen rolled her eyes at him, and then said unhappily. How dare I tell you? With your self-esteem that is so stubborn, what will you do if I tell you? Don't you know what you are talking about? Oh. Lin Dashan looked embarrassed and was a little embarrassed and speechless. Then Jo Killen continued. In fact, when our family came to the Magic City, your uncle secretly gave me some of his hidden private money. So, the money I used to start my business was that money, Lin Dashan said helplessly. Jo Killen rolled her eyes at him and said unhappily. What else? The old man froze all my cards at the time. How could I have the money at the time? I didn't intend to take it at first, but I saw that you were determined to start a business and wanted to make some achievements to prove yourself, so I accepted it. Lin Dashan was even more embarrassed at this time. So that's it. When Jo Killen gave him the money, Lin Dashan thought it was the New Year's money that Jo Killen had saved for a long time, and he didn't think much about it. As a result, seeing his father so slow to realize it, Lin Feng couldn't help but sigh in his heart that his father had always been so unreliable and careless. Joe Killen continued. Not just this time, old Lin, do you remember when I gave birth to Lin Feng? At that time, your advertising company was not doing well and had difficulty in cash flow. You almost couldn't even afford the money for my hospitalization and childbirth. At that time, I said that a colleague lent us 20,000 yuan. Do you remember? That money was actually brought to me by my mother, Lin Feng's grandmother, who found out about our situation and used her connections to avoid the old man and secretly ask someone to get it for me. Oh, so there was such a thing. Lin Dashin felt a little guilty that he didn't know anything. Chapter 958. It's better not to have such relatives. At the beginning, he wanted to build up the company and wanted to show Joe Killen's father that Joe Killen made the right choice. But after constant setbacks, Lin Dashin realized that it was really difficult to succeed. Because of family reasons, Lin Dashin slowly restrained his ambition and put it away. Until the opportunity brought by Lin Feng last time, Lin Dashin's ambition was ready to move again. He still wanted to make a career to prove himself. Prove it to his wife Joe Killen's family. But he didn't expect that he thought he had been able to survive like this all the time, but he didn't expect that he still received some favors from Joe Killen's family. He felt a little guilty. He looked at Joe Killen with a complicated look. He spoke softly. Wife, I've made you suffer with any these years. Old Lin, I told you, you didn't make me suffer nor did you let me suffer any grievances. These years, you've taken good care of me, and I've lived a happy life. I'm very satisfied with all this, really. I said these words to tell my son not to vent his anger on his grandmother and uncle because of this matter. Joe Killen looked at Lin Dashin tenderly and spoke softly. Wife, thank you. Lin Dashin had thousands of words in his heart and wanted to say something, but in the end he just said thank you to his wife Joe Killen. Joe Killen rolled her eyes at him, and then slowly spoke to Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. Son, Yuxi, actually your uncle wanted to come for your engagement. However, he couldn't come in person because he had a mission. He asked me to tell you too that he would give you the engagement gift in person the next time we meet. Oh, Mom, it doesn't matter whether it's a gift or not. I just want to know where your family comes from. After listening to what you said, you disagreed and eloped. How come it's like those wealthy families in ancient times? Lin Feng said with some confusion. Joe Killen rolled her eyes at Lin Feng. What wealthy family would eloped? Who would say this about their own parents? Joe Killen was speechless. But she didn't say anything. She understood what her son meant. She looked at Lin Feng and spoke slowly. Your grandpa was a hero of that era, one of the people who made everyone look down on him. He is now 90 years old, and he and your grandma are currently recuperating in Beijing Villa. And you have 3 uncles. They are in politics, the military, and business. And they are all the ones who have the final say. Son, do you understand what I mean? The one who has been in contact with Mom is your second uncle, who is in the army now. He can't come this time because he has a mission. Otherwise, even if he risks being punished by your grandpa, he will come, because Mom and him have a good relationship since childhood. Oh, is it so awesome? It's really a family of nobles. However, Lin Feng thought about it, and a surge of anger suddenly emerged in his heart. In the previous life, his father's company went bankrupt and he drank all day to drown his sorrows. If it weren't for the awakening of the system, I'm afraid the whole family would be torn apart. But during this period, Lin Feng didn't see anyone helping him at all. Even the second uncle that his mother mentioned was nowhere to be seen. They are so awesome, if they just help a little, maybe the ending will be different. Because Lin Feng suddenly felt angry at this moment. Such a grandpa, such a relative, it's better not to have him. He looked up at Joe Killen and spoke word by word. Mom. One day, I will make them regret it. Let them come and invite you back to your mother's house in person. Lin Feng was really angry. Especially in the last life, under such circumstances, no one came to help. That's why Lin Feng said such words. With a system, he has the confidence and ability to do this. Silly child, just have this intention, don't be impulsive. Now Mom thinks our family is living well like this. Joe Killen said softly. Seeing that his mother was worried about him, Lin Feng nodded to agree. But he had already made up his mind in his heart. Afterwards, several people stopped talking about this matter. The family chatted casually. Joe Killen smiled and said to the two of them, since you two have decided to go to Beijing, you can go to the Great Wall, the Forbidden City and other places when you are free on weekends. I especially liked to go there when I was a child. I haven't been back to Beijing for many years. I don't know if it has changed. I'm afraid I can't recognize the road, haha. Mom, aren't you not working now? When you have time, you and my dad can go around and travel. It's time to relax and enjoy yourself. Lin Feng said with a smile. Joe Killen smiled and nodded, and then stopped talking about it. Quietly holding the blue and white token and keeping the promise, parting is always spent in frustration. At this time, Lin Feng's mobile phone rang. Lin Feng looked and saw that it was his class leader He Song calling. It was not long since they separated, and Lin Feng was a little confused. Hello, class leader, what's the matter? Lin Feng smiled and said to the phone. Lin Feng, the TV reporter will come to the school for an interview tomorrow. The school leaders want you to come for the interview and promote the school, and set an example for the younger students. What do you think? Oh, well, okay, this can be regarded as contributing to the alma mater, I agree. Lin Feng thought for a while and replied. Okay, you kid, now you have become a role model. Then see you at school at 9:30 tomorrow morning, don't forget it. He Song urged. Okay, don't worry, old class teacher. Lin Feng replied with a smile. Then the two said a few more words and hung up the phone. Well, the school said that the reporter will come to interview tomorrow and asked me to go over. Just as Lin Feng finished speaking, Zhang Yuxi also received a message from her class teacher, asking her to go back to school tomorrow for an interview. Oh, the two smiled at each other. Time passed quickly, and soon it was time to go to bed at night. Since Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were already engaged, it was natural for them to sleep in the same room. That night, the two slept in each other's arms. Raymond Lam didn't get on base, and nothing happened between them. It's not that Raymond Lam didn't want to. It's that both he and Zhang Yuxi felt that it wasn't the right time yet. When the time is right, it will happen naturally. Although Raymond Lam wanted it very much, it was mainly because Zhang Yuxi wasn't ready yet. Besides, he was with Zhang Yuxi not just because he wanted to sleep with her, it was true love between them. Do you understand true love? I think you don't understand. Raymond Lam thought to himself to comfort himself. Chapter 959 The Clown Is Me. Lin Feng woke up early the next morning. The habit he developed when he was in school couldn't be changed all of a sudden. Unless he stayed up late the night before, he couldn't sleep in. He woke up automatically at a certain time. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi who was curled up in his arms, and a happy smile appeared on his face. Waking up early in the morning, the first time he opened his eyes, he could see his beloved lying in his arms. This is the happiest thing. Zhang Yuxi's little face is smooth and delicate, without a trace of spots or acne marks on her face. Usually, I don't see how this little fool takes care of it, and I don't know how this little fool has such good skin. Maybe this is natural beauty. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi sleeping with a smile on her lips. The more he looked at her, the more he loved her. He gently pinched Zhang Yuxi's nose. Zhang Yuxi frowned slightly, and reached out to push Lin Feng's hand away in her sleep. Lin Feng looked a little funny. So he couldn't help but kiss Zhang Yuxi on the face. Zhang Yuxi's eyelashes trembled after being kissed by Lin Feng, and her eyes slowly opened. She opened her sleepy eyes and saw Lin Feng looking at her with a smile on his face. She smiled slightly, stretched out her hands to Lin Feng, and said in a tender voice, "Hubby, good morning, I want a hug." Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's cute appearance and smiled. He slowly picked up Zhang Yuxi. The two hugged each other for a long time. Zhang Yuxi also slowly woke up completely. So the two got up, afraid that if they didn't get up again, Lin Feng's mother would come and knock on the door and call for people again. The two got up, washed, and had breakfast. With Joe Killen's meaningful smile on her face, the two walked out of the house. Zhang Yuxi's little face was slightly red, and Lin Feng looked puzzled. Could it be that his mother thought? Haha, Lin Feng smiled, and didn't think about it anymore, and then the two went downstairs to the parking lot. After getting in the car, start the engine. Boom. The sound of the Ferrari 488 Pistaspeder is still awesome. Amid the roar of the car engine, the Ferrari 488 Pistaspeder disappeared in the underground parking lot. When the two arrived at the school, it was just 9 o'clock in the morning. After parking the car, the two walked hand in hand on the campus. Looking at the younger students passing by, they were both filled with emotion. Not long ago, they were also one of them. Now, they have graduated. It's not about being happy or anything, there's only endless nostalgia. The two wandered around the campus for a while. The two people with outstanding looks, holding hands, are like a pair of golden boys and jade girls. They soon attracted the attention of others. The younger students looked at the two, and their eyes were full of envy. At this time, the dean of the second grade saw the two people holding hands from a distance. He was immediately furious. Oh my God! These two people are so bold that they are in love on campus in broad daylight. He was about to come over and scold them. At this time, He-song appeared. He saw Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi not far away, and a smile appeared on his face, so he walked over quickly. After walking quickly in front of the two people, He-song smiled and joked. You two. Too much, in this campus, don't you pay attention to the influence. Wait and you will lead the younger students astray, he. Oh, he. Lin Feng smiled awkwardly, while Zhang Yuxi was a little shy, and two red clouds appeared on her face. At this time, the dean of the second grade also came over. He looked at He-song, who was talking and laughing with Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi, with some confusion. He-song knew He-song, but this. At this time, He-song also found the dean of the second grade. So he spoke softly. Hey, Director Lee, you are here too. Teacher He, what is this? Director Lee of the second grade said with some confusion. Oh, these two are my students. They were invited back to school today to be interviewed by reporters. I was just about to take them over. He-song said with a smile. Ah. Oh, so that's how it is. Director Lee quietly wiped the sweat from his forehead, feeling a little guilty. He almost made a big mistake. Then he said a few words and left in a hurry. He was dedicated and had to continue to inspect the campus. Then He-song took Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi to the school's stepped conference room. Today's interview was arranged here. As soon as they walked into the conference room, a voice attracted the attention of several people. Classmate, is it you? The sudden voice startled the three people. Lin Feng and the other two looked involuntarily in the direction where the voice came from. Oh, this figure seems a little familiar. Oh, it turned out to be her. At this moment, the owner of the voice walked towards Lin Feng and the others. He, classmate, do you still remember me? This person walked in front of Lin Feng and the others, and smiled at Lin Feng and said. As soon as this person said this, Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng with a scrutinizing look, and the class leader He-song also looked at Lin Feng with a strange look. Lin Feng saw the two people looking at him like this, especially Zhang Yuxi. If he couldn't explain it clearly, he might have to sleep on the floor tonight. He looked at this person with a black face and smiled bitterly. Oh, I remember you. You are the reporter who interviewed at the school gate on the day after the college entrance examination. But, sister, what you said is easy to be misunderstood. That's right, this person is the female reporter from Moto TV who interviewed Lin Feng at the school gate on the day after the college entrance examination, the female reporter who was choked to death by Lin Feng's words. And her dazzling figure is hard to forget. Oh, when she heard Lin Feng's words, she glanced at the two people next to her with some strange eyes, and suddenly reacted. She blushed a little embarrassed. However, she recovered quickly. After all, as a reporter, thick skin is the first professional quality. She rolled her eyes at Lin Feng and said, Classmate, you are still ashamed to say that. The interview I gave you that day, what you said caused me to be scolded by my leader when I went back. Oh, Lin Feng was a little speechless. What did I say that day? Didn't I just tell the truth? The question is really simple. Lin Feng smiled helplessly at the female reporter and said nothing. Then the female reporter asked with some confusion. Classmate, are you here to admire the style of the top scorer in the national college entrance examination today? That person is so amazing. I don't know what he ate to grow up, but he actually got full marks. The female reporter exclaimed with admiration. Oh, now Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi looked at each other. Lin Feng touched his nose a little embarrassedly and said awkwardly. Thank you for the compliment. What did you just say? The female reporter suddenly said with some confusion. She was praising the top scorer in the college entrance examination, I am the person you said who didn't know what he ate to grow up. Female reporter. You said you are the top scorer in the college entrance examination. The female reporter asked a little weakly. Yes. Lin Feng nodded. The female reporter was so embarrassed that she wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl into. I actually said those words in front of him. So embarrassing. So shy. She didn't expect that person to be Raymond Lam. Now that I've finished the college entrance exam, when I interviewed him, Raymond Lam told the truth. At that time, I thought Raymond Lam was a psychopath. It turns out that the clown is me. Chapter 960, What a Fairy Couple. Then she came back to her senses and spoke awkwardly. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, you're really too good. It's okay. Lin Feng waved his hand, and then followed a song to the podium. The female reporter looked at Lin Feng's leaving figure, a little absent-minded, with a complicated expression on her face, and she didn't know what she was thinking. Soon everyone sat down and all the reporters arrived. The principal of Moto Middle School walked up to the podium with a smile on his face. Ahem. He cleared his throat and spoke slowly. Good morning, teachers, students, and journalists. Welcome everyone to participate in the press conference of Moto Middle School this time. First of all, thank you very much for coming. This time in the college entrance examination, with the efforts of teachers and students, our Moto Middle School has made a major breakthrough, and some students have achieved outstanding results. Here, I would like to express my warm congratulations to all teachers and students. Pa 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 pa. Everyone in the audience applauded. Principal Wang pressed his hand down, signaling everyone to be quiet. Then he smiled and spoke. Today's protagonist is not me, nor Moto Middle School, but our classmates, so I won't say too much. The next time is for them. Now, please invite our National College Entrance Examination champion Lin Feng to come to the stage to give a speech and be interviewed. Pa 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 pa. Amidst warm applause, Lin Feng slowly stood up. Zhang Yuxi helped him straighten his collar with a gentle look on his face, and then Lin Feng touched Zhang Yuxi's face and walked up to the podium with a smile on his face. This scene was seen by the class teacher He Song, who was sitting next to him. His expression was a bit complicated, as if he had eaten a lot of Ali Jenny. This wave of dog food is a bit uncomfortable to eat. At this moment, Lin Feng stood on the podium. He put away his previous informality, looked at everyone seriously, and slowly spoke. Dear leaders, teachers, classmates, and journalist friends, I'm honored to be here today to meet you all. I think everyone is a little curious about my college entrance examination results this time. Actually, I'm not surprised at all about the full marks in this college entrance examination. Everything is within my expectations. Why do you say that? Because when I got the questions for this college entrance examination, I felt that they were very simple, even simpler than the questions in the previous citywide mock exam in Shanghai. Well, I also got full marks in that citywide exam. Lin Feng is so pretentious that everyone in the audience would like to call him number one. But Lin Feng has the ability to pretend. There's nothing he can do. Zhang Yuxi in the audience also looked at Lin Feng with a gentle smile on her face, her eyes full of love. Lin Feng continued. Actually, I know everyone wants to ask me how I learned. Do I have any special learning methods? Actually, my method is very simple. As long as everyone can stick to it, he can also get full marks. This learning method is, there is a path in the mountains, diligence is the way, and the boundless sea of learning is the boat. As long as you can endure loneliness, you will eventually see the moon when the clouds clear. Okay, I'm done, thank you everyone. Lin Feng didn't go on, because he knew that he still had to answer questions from reporters. At this time, a reporter stood up and asked, Student Lin Feng, what you said just now is really beneficial. Excuse me, has student Lin Feng always been so patient and worked hard? Lin Feng glanced at Zhang Yuxi in the audience and said uncertainly. I think so, right. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly at Lin Feng. And the class owner He Song couldn't help rolling his eyes at this time. What kind of loneliness is he, Lin Feng? Exclamation mark. Be accompanied by a beautiful woman every day. If this is also called loneliness, please give me a car. Lin Feng, you are so pretentious, I give you full marks, I'm not afraid of your pride. He Song muttered in his mouth. Student Lin Feng, which university do you plan to choose to study in? The female reporter from Magic City TV stood up and asked Lin Feng. Regarding this school question, well, it is most likely to be Tsinghua University or Peking University. Lin Feng's answer was within everyone's expectations. With Lin Feng's grades, he would naturally go to the most famous universities in the country. It would be abnormal to go to other places. Then other reporters asked questions. Lin Feng answered them one by one. After answering all the questions from reporters, Lin Feng waved his sleeves and walked down, looking very cool. Then, Zhang Yuxi also went up to give a speech. What Zhang Yuxi said was much more normal than Lin Feng. When asked which university he would choose, Zhang Yuxi looked up at Lin Feng in the audience. The two smiled at each other. Zhang Yuxi gave the same answer as Lin Feng. Everyone was not surprised. 20 minutes later, Zhang Yuxi also answered all the questions and walked down slowly. Lin Feng looked at the time. It was almost 12 o'clock. It was time for lunch. So the two of them left in full view of everyone, leaving everyone stunned. Oh my god. What's going on? The top scorer in the National College entrance examination and the top scorer in the province's liberal arts seem to be a couple. There seems to be a story behind this. The two disappeared in the conference hall like the Condor heroes. What a pair of immortal lovers. Someone couldn't help but mutter to himself. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi walked hand in hand towards the parking lot. My dear wife, it's noon. Let's go eat. What do you want to eat? Lin Feng said to Zhang Yuxi gently. Yes, I'm fine. Listen, my dear husband. Zhang Yuxi nodded and said cutely. Then the two got on the car. Lin Feng naturally helped Zhang Yuxi fasten her seat belt, and the two set off. On the way, Lin Feng suddenly remembered his brother Li Tian and his girlfriend Su Meier. At the engagement party yesterday, Li Tian came over and showed up. He toasted Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi with a glass of wine and then left in a hurry. Because he had to take care of Su Meier, she had just had surgery a few days ago. It's not good to be away for a long time. It is estimated that she can get out of bed and move around today, so the two of them discussed it in turn to go home to change the car first, and then see if Su Meier can go out and have a meal together. So the two decided to go back to the community to change the car first. After all, this car can't seat 4 people now. After changing the car, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi drove all the way to the Magic City People's Hospital. After taking the elevator to the ward, dong dong dong, Lin Feng knocked on the door. The door opened. Li Tian was a little surprised to see Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. Lin Feng, you are here. Li Tian said with a smile. Well, Yuxi and I came to see Sister Meier. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. Chapter 961. Buy a house early. Then, several people entered the ward. Su Meier was able to get out of bed, and her pale face was now slightly rosy. Brother Lin, Sister Yuxi, you are here, she said with a sweet smile. Afterwards, after consulting the doctor, it was said that Su Meier could go out but not for too long. So several people set out and chose a restaurant near the hospital. After entering the private room and sitting down, Li Tian looked at Lin Feng with gratitude and said, Brother, I won't say much about thanking you. Yesterday, I came and went in a hurry. Today, I will toast you and Sister Yuxi with tea instead of wine. I wish you happiness. Okay. Let's drink a cup of tea instead of wine together, Lin Feng said with a smile. Su Meier also brought up boiled water, and several people clinked it. Then the food came up, and the 4 people ate and talked, laughing constantly. Just when Lin Feng and others were chatting happily, the content of today's reporter interview was being edited in a hurry and was ready to be broadcast on the afternoon news. After a meal, several people were extremely happy. After chatting for a while, Lin Feng sent Li Tian and Su Meier back to the hospital. After all, Su Meier couldn't stay outside for too long. After sending Li Tian and Su Meier, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi also planned to go home. It was a bit early today, so Lin Feng planned to go back for a nap. Lin Feng drove the car, and the two slowly went to the community. After returning to the community, Lin Feng parked the car. The two went upstairs. Catcha. As soon as Lin Feng opened the door, he saw his mother sitting on the sofa wiping tears. Mom, what's wrong? Lin Feng hurried in and asked anxiously. Zhou Qilin looked up at Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi with tears in her eyes, and slowly said, son, Yuxi, you are back. Mom is fine, it's just that this TV is too touching. Oh. Lin Feng was speechless, with black lines on his head. He and Zhang Yuxi looked at each other and smiled bitterly with some helplessness. Mom, you are scaring me to death. I thought something was wrong. Zhou Qilin rolled her eyes at Lin Feng and said unhappily. What do you know? This TV is so touching. Lin Feng. Okay, I don't understand the world of women. I can't afford to offend them. He was embarrassed and didn't dare to speak. Then Zhang Yuxi sat next to Zhou Qilin and comforted her. But it was useless. After a while, Zhang Yuxi was also brought into the pit. The two chattered about the plot of the TV series. Then they watched it seriously. And Lin Feng seemed a little redundant on the side. Lin Feng looked at his fiancée and his mother. He shook his head helplessly and said, "You guys watch it slowly. I'm going back to my room to take a nap." Then the two of them didn't raise their heads and replied in unison. There was nothing else. Lin Feng was helpless. He had to get up and pat his butt and go back to his room. Lin Feng lay on the bed, and everything that had happened in the past few days emerged in his mind. Everything was developing perfectly according to his plan. Lin Feng was full of expectations for the next college life. It was time to think about starting a business. In addition, Lin Feng wanted to buy a new house for his family. The current housing prices in Shanghai were not expensive, far from being as terrible as they would be in the future. So, buy a house as soon as possible. Now I still have some spare money, which is more than enough to buy a new villa for my family. When I arrive in Beijing, Lin Feng also plans to buy a house in Beijing, and then live with Zhang Yuxi in a world of two. It's so wonderful to think about it. Thinking about it, Lin Feng fell asleep. I don't know how long it took, but Lin Feng was awakened by his mother's loud laughter. Lin Feng rubbed his confused eyes. I forgot to close the door of the room, no wonder I could hear my mother's loud laughter. He was a little helpless. Lin Feng was a little curious about Zhang Yuxi and his mother Zhou. What on earth were they doing? They were laughing so happily. So he struggled to get up and walk towards the living room. I saw the two of them holding a photo album, talking and laughing. Zhang Yuxi suddenly looked up and saw Lin Feng. She couldn't help but burst out laughing, and she spoke while laughing. "Hey, Lin Feng, you were so ugly when you were a child." Lin Feng. Lin Feng's head was full of black lines at this moment. "What do you mean I was so ugly when I was a child?" Question mark. "That's obviously cute, okay?" Exclamation mark. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's laughing face. He rushed up and threw Zhang Yuxi onto the sofa. "Yuxi, I'll give you another chance to reorganize your words." Lin Feng pretended to have a fierce expression. "Hey." Zhang Yuxi giggled. Seeing this, Lin Feng used his unique skill, tickling. "Ah. Ha ha ha." Zhang Yuxi curled up in Lin Feng's arms and laughed. Zhang Yuxi almost cried with laughter. Lin Feng's mother Zhou looked at the two people playing around, and couldn't help showing an it-like smile on her face. These two people are really. Ha ha ha. Lin Feng, I was wrong. Wah ha ha. Humph, too late. How dare you say your husband is ugly? He is so cute. Ah. Auntie, Lin Feng bullied me. Wah ha ha. Zhang Yuxi couldn't stand it anymore. She asked Zhou for help. Zhou heard it, of course she sided with her daughter-in-law. She hit Lin Feng and scolded him. "Okay, Lin Feng, don't bully Yuxi. She's right, you were ugly when you were a child. I despise you." Lin Feng. Lin Feng glanced and stopped what he was doing. Zhang Yuxi took the opportunity to get out of his arms, ran to Zhou side and hid, winked at Lin Feng, and looked at Lin Feng with a smug look. Oh, what his mother said was really his biological mother. "Mom. I am your biological child, right?" Lin Feng smiled helplessly. Zhou rolled her eyes at Lin Feng. "My daughter-in-law is right, you were ugly when you were a child. You are ugly, but you don't let others say it. When you were just born, your little face was wrinkled. At that time, I doubted whether you were my son. If you hadn't grown up, I would be embarrassed to recognize you as my son." Lin Feng. Lin Feng felt so wronged. Yes, it's definitely my biological mother. Then the two ignored Lin Feng's resentful eyes and continued to talk and laugh with the album. This is when Lin Feng was 3 years old. Yuxi, let me tell you, when Lin Feng was 6 years old, he was afraid of strangers. Once when we went to the bathhouse, he refused to go into the men's bathhouse with his dad and insisted on following me. I had no choice but to take him to the women's bathhouse. At that time, Lin Feng was very pretty, just like a little girl. After entering the women's bathhouse, he was teased by those ants and blushed. He was almost teased. Chapter 962, News. Ha ha ha. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng with a strange look in her eyes, and couldn't help laughing. Seeing her mother exposing her childhood black history to Zhang Yuxi, Lin Feng was so upset. His reputation was ruined just like that. Fortunately, Lin Feng was thick-skinned. He glared at Zhang Yuxi, and then chose to ignore them. Seeing Lin Feng like this, Zhang Yuxi covered her mouth and laughed non-stop. Catcha. Just then, the door opened. Lin Dashan walked in from outside. As soon as he entered the door, he smiled and said, "What are you talking about? You look so happy, I can hear your laughter outside the door." He. Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng's mother Zhou Qilin looked at each other, and couldn't help giggling again. Lin Dashan looked at the two of them with a puzzled look, and then looked at Lin Feng, who looked resentful. A little confused. "Uncle, we are talking about Lin Feng's childhood," Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. "Well, that's it. If you guys talk about this, I'll be interested," Lin Dashan said excitedly. Lin Feng. Lin Feng had to cover his face and ignore them. "Yuxi, let me tell you, Lin Feng, this kid, wet the bed when he was in elementary school." Lin Dashan then put down his things and sat on the sofa, joining the army of black history. What followed was a constant burst of laughter. It was in sharp contrast to Lin Feng sitting alone in the corner of the sofa. After a long time, the three of them finally stopped laughing. They only stopped when they saw Lin Feng's increasingly dark face. Lin Feng felt extremely bitter. In the future, he probably wouldn't even be able to get a place in this family. It's so uncomfortable. Suddenly Lin Dashan remembered something and slapped his thigh. "By the way, turn on the TV. Mediterranean Old Chen told me that the Magic City TV station will broadcast the content of Lin Feng's interview today. Ah. So, then I have to see my son's glorious moment," Zhou Qilin said with a smile while turning on the TV. After finding the Magic City TV station, it was just the time for the afternoon news. Soon, the TV showed the scene of Lin Feng being interviewed, and it was the time when Lin Feng was interviewed at the school gate just after taking the Chinese test. The picture is as follows. "Hello, classmate. I am a reporter from the Magic City TV station. I want to interview you. Can I bother you for a few minutes?" the female reporter asked Lin Feng excitedly. Okay, then you hurry up. I'm in a hurry." "Classmate, how difficult do you think the Chinese questions in this college entrance examination are compared with the past?" the female reporter asked with a microphone. Lin Feng reached out and slapped the microphone away. "You put the microphone in my mouth," Lin Feng said speechlessly. Ha. Seeing this, Zhang Yuxi, Zhou Qilin, and Lin Dashan couldn't help laughing. "This Lin Feng is so funny." Then the scene changed. Sorry, classmate," the female reporter apologized with an embarrassed look. "Classmate, let's continue with the previous topic. How difficult do you think the Chinese questions in this college entrance examination are compared with the previous ones?" "I don't know. This is my first time taking the college entrance examination." Lin Feng was a little speechless. Lin Feng's words made the female reporter blackline. "Well, classmate, you handed in the paper in advance. Do you think the Chinese questions this time are difficult?" I think it's quite simple, but I don't know what others think." Female reporter. "Then classmate, how many points do you think you can get in Chinese this time?" It should be around 150 points. Lin Feng answered honestly. The three people couldn't help laughing again. From this picture, it can be seen that the female reporter was scolded by Lin Feng. Especially when the female reporter looked at Lin Feng, the look in her eyes that seemed to be looking at a fool made the three people couldn't help laughing. Lin Feng looked at the people laughing, and his face, which had just returned to normal, turned dark again. At this moment, he couldn't help but feel embarrassed when he looked at the interview screen. "If I had known that, I wouldn't be naughty at that time. I'm afraid I will be talked about for the rest of my life!" God, what a sin! Lin Feng couldn't help but wail in his heart. The three of them looked at Lin Feng with strange faces. Lin Feng was also desperate. What should they do? He had to pretend that nothing had happened. As long as he was not embarrassed, they would be embarrassed. Lin Feng comforted himself with the AQ spiritual victory method. Then, the TV continued to broadcast Lin Feng's interview this morning. The morning interview was quite standard, and Lin Feng was not naughty. Lin Feng let out a long breath. Fortunately, he didn't do anything wrong this morning, otherwise he would probably be laughed at again. This is an interview that everyone in the entire Magic City can see, and his own reputation for a lifetime. After Lin Feng's interview, Zhang Yuxi's picture appeared on the TV. Zhang Yuxi had a sweet smile on her face, a goddess image. It is estimated that after today, Zhang Yuxi will be famous in the whole Magic City. No way. She has good grades and looks like a fairy. Finally, the news about the interview on TV ended, and other livelihood news was broadcast instead. "Mom, I'm hungry. Should we go out for dinner or eat at home?" Lin Feng said to Zhou Qilin. He quickly changed the subject. Otherwise they would talk about his childhood black history again, which would be uncomfortable. Well, let's eat at home. The food outside is not delicious. I'll make it now. Juggling thought for a while and said. Then she got up and walked to the kitchen. Zhang Yuxi also got up to help. Lin Feng shouted to the kitchen. Mom, I want to eat that braised pork ribs. Okay, Mom will make it for you. You kid, you have a picky mouth. Juggling's voice slowly floated out from the kitchen. Lin Feng sat on the sofa and watched TV leisurely, waiting for dinner. Such a day is so wonderful. Lin Feng suddenly remembered something and said to his father Lin Dashan. Dad, let's move to another house. Huh? Why do you bring this up all of a sudden? Lin Dashan looked up at Lin Feng and said. No, I just think this house is a bit small. Although I don't really want to move, now that the conditions are better and you and my mom have worked hard over the years, I want to move to a bigger house. It's time for you and my mom to enjoy life. Lin Feng said to Lin Dashan with a serious face. Lin Dashan thought for a while, then nodded. Tell your mom and Zhang Yuxi about it later, and we'll discuss it. Chapter 963 I recognize you as my godfather. Yes. Lin Feng nodded, and then said no more. The father and son watched TV silently. Soon, the meal was ready, and Zhang Yuxi came out of the kitchen with a meal. Lin Feng quickly got up to help take it. I can't just let my fiancé do the work, I have to help too, so that life will be fun. Soon the family sat at the dinner table, talking and laughing while eating, enjoying the warm moments of the family. Mom, your cooking skills are as good as always. Lin Feng said with a thumbs up. You kid only know how to say nice things to make mom happy. Juggling said with a smile on her face. Auntie, Lin Feng is right, the taste is really great. Zhang Yuxi also said to help. Hey. You too, really. Juggling laughed and shook her head, saying angrily. The family talked and laughed, and the picture was extremely harmonious. After dinner, the family sat on the sofa and chatted. Lin Feng was just about to talk about buying a house. Knock, knock, knock. At this moment, the door was knocked. Who is it? ? Several people were puzzled. Then Lin Feng got up and opened the door. When he opened the door, it was a young couple holding a child. Lin Feng asked with some confusion. Hello, who are you looking for? The young woman holding the child was excited when she saw Lin Feng. She said excitedly. Benefactor. I finally found you. Huh? ? Lin Feng had a question mark on his face. Hello, are you mistaken? I am your benefactor. Yes, it's me. Benefactor, the pregnant woman you saved on the street before. Lin Feng suddenly realized it. He smiled and said. So it's you, congratulations. You are. Benefactor, I came here specially to thank you today. The young woman said excitedly. Oh. Lin Feng saw that the woman was holding a child and it was inconvenient, so he hurriedly said. Come in and sit down first. Then Lin Feng opened the door and welcomed them in. At this time, Juggling and the others saw the movement here and stood up and walked over. Son, this is. Juggling and the others said in confusion. Oh, well, didn't I save a pregnant woman on the street before? Yes, it's this lady. Oh, so that's the case. After knowing this, the few people understood it instantly. The young woman looked at the few people and said. Sorry, I suddenly visited today and disturbed you. It's okay, come in and sit down, have a glass of water. Juggling said enthusiastically. After the few people sat down. After thanking her, the young woman said excitedly. My benefactor, thanks to you, the doctor told me later, otherwise my child and I would probably. The man next to the young woman also nodded with gratitude. It's okay, it's just a little help. Also, don't be so polite, my last name is Lin, you can call me Xiao Lin. Lin Feng waved his hand and said with a smile. He didn't think too much when he saved people at that time, and now he is happy to see that the mother and child are safe. No, it should be. If it weren't for Mr. Lin, my child would probably be gone. Your great kindness will be remembered by our family for the rest of our lives. Oh. Lin Feng smiled awkwardly. Really, you don't have to be so polite. But how did you know I live here? Lin Feng asked with some confusion. Mr. Lin, it's like this. I have been asking for your news before, but I couldn't find out. I only know your name is Lin Feng from the registration form of the hospital. This afternoon, when I was taking care of my child at home, The TV happened to broadcast an interview with the top scorer of the college entrance examination. I saw it and immediately recognized it was you. So I contacted Moto TV and finally got your news and address from them, and then called my lover to rush over. The young woman explained. Oh, so that's the case. It's okay, don't be so polite. Lin Feng suddenly understood, so he smiled and said. When the young woman saw Lin Feng say this, she looked at her lover, and then spoke hesitantly. Mr. Lin, I want my child to recognize you as his godfather. Is that okay with you? Godfather? Question mark? Lin Feng. Everyone. As soon as the young woman said this, several people were stunned for a moment. Several people stared at the woman with wide eyes, with an incredible look on their faces. Although Lin Feng has some experience of being a human being in two lives, in this life, he is still a child himself. Although he is engaged to Zhang Yuxi, the two have never thought about children, and neither of them has even hit a home run. This godson suddenly appeared, and for a moment, he was also a little stunned. Mr. Lin, I know it's a bit presumptuous to say this suddenly, but my children were all saved by you, and my husband and I have no way to repay you, so we can only let this child be your godson, so that he will always remember your kindness. I beg you to agree. At this time, the young man spoke to Lin Feng with a serious face, with a little pleading in his voice. It was like if Lin Feng didn't agree, he would kneel down forever. Lin Feng had come back to his senses at this moment, and he showed a little embarrassment on his face. Seeing Lin Feng like this, Lin Dashan spoke softly. Lin Feng, agreed to them. Because Lin Dashan could see the determination of the young couple, if Lin Feng didn't agree, the couple would probably have trouble feeling at ease for the rest of their lives. Seeing his father say this, Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi, nodded slowly and said, Okay. I'm still a child myself, but I didn't expect to suddenly become a godfather, Lin Feng smiled bitterly with some helplessness. Hearing that Lin Feng agreed, the young couple's faces instantly bloomed with bright smiles. The woman said excitedly, Thank you. Thank you Mr. Lin for your help. Oh, by the way, I don't know what you two are called. Lin Feng said casually. Mr. Lin, my surname is Chen, my name is Chen Min, and my wife's surname is Song, her name is Song Miai. The man said hurriedly. Well, since I'm the child's godfather, it's not appropriate for you to call me Mr. Lin anymore. You can just call me Lin Feng from now on. I'll call you brother Chen and sister Miai. Lin Feng said casually. The couple hesitated because they felt that calling Lin Feng by his name was a bit disrespectful. Lin Feng could see their struggle and waved his hand casually. It's okay, it's just a name. Then, he introduced his parents and Zhang Yuxi. The few of them quickly became familiar with each other. At this time, Lin Feng said, Brother Chen, has the child been named? What's his name? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 964 Investment Plan. Brother Lin, not yet. I just want to keep it for you to help pick a name. After all, you saved his life. Brother Chen looked at Lin Feng honestly and said. So? Lin Feng answered casually. Then he pondered for a while, suddenly thought of something, and slowly spoke to everyone. Brother's surname is Chen, and this child is a boy, so let's call him Chen Sichen. As soon as Lin Feng said this, everyone's eyes lit up. Sichen, think upright, honest and trustworthy. Always remember to think correctly and be an honest person. Good name. From now on, the child will be called Chen Sichen. Remember, this is the name your godfather gave you. Song Miai said in her mouth, and then whispered to the child in her arms. And little Chen Sichen seemed to know that he had a name, and a smile appeared on his little face, and he giggled. Seeing that he was cute, Lin Feng asked to hug him. Lin Feng carefully hugged little Chen Sichen, with a face full of fatherly love. Little Chen Sichen's little hands gently grabbed Lin Feng's little face, giggling, not afraid of strangers at all. Zhang Yuxi also came over and teased the child, and both of them were full of love in their eyes. So cute. Zhang Yuxi thought. The children of her and Lin Feng in the future should also be super cute. Thinking about it, two red clouds appeared on Zhang Yuxi's face. Little Sichen, this is your godmother, let the godmother hug you. Lin Feng whispered to little Chen Sichen. After that, little Sichen really stretched out his little hand to Zhang Yuxi, looking like he wanted to hug her. Incredibly cute. Everyone laughed at this scene. Lin Feng looked at the scene in front of him, and it seemed that having such a little godson was not bad. Then several people chatted. Chen Min and his wife knew that Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were engaged, and the two were about to go to college in Beijing. They all opened their mouths to congratulate. Brother Lin Feng and sister Yuzi, both of them are extremely talented. It is really a great blessing for Sichen to be able to marry you two as his godfather and godmother. Chen Min said with some emotion. Ha ha ha, brother Chen, you are too kind. Meeting is fate. Since this child is destined to be with us, there is no such thing as marrying up or not marrying up. We are just ordinary people. Lin Feng said politely. After the few people chatted for a while, Chen Min and his wife left their contact information with Lin Feng and made an appointment to come over when they have time, and also invited Lin Feng and his family to be their guests. After the agreement, the couple hugged little Chen Sichen and left. I almost forgot. Lin Feng stuffed the gifts that the couple brought back to them, but the couple refused to agree. After refusing for a long time, Lin Feng had no choice but to let them go. The family sent them downstairs. Looking at their figures gradually going away, Lin Feng felt a little emotional. Just like this, I inexplicably had a son, well, a godson, it's amazing. Then the family went upstairs and returned home. Sitting on the sofa, Zhang Yuxi said to Lin Feng. Lin Feng, little Sichen is so cute, he doesn't cry or to make a fuss, he's so obedient. Zhang Yuxi's face was full of maternal love. Lin Feng smiled and planned to tease her. Wife, when are we going to have a baby? I think the baby we have will be cuter. Oh. Zhang Yuxi's face flushed all the way to her neck. Zhou Qilin and Lin Dashan looked at Zhang Yuxi's shy look and laughed. These two little guys should have such a cute baby in a few years, and the couple were looking forward to it. Zhang Yuxi blushed and glared at Lin Feng. Lin Feng, this bad guy, actually teased me like this in front of his uncle and aunt, Zhang Yuxi planned to let Lin Feng sleep on the floor tonight. Not let him sleep on the bed. Then the family chatted happily, and the scene was full of joy. As the family chatted, Lin Feng suddenly remembered that they had not talked about buying a house. So he looked at his mother and Zhang Yuxi and said, Mom, Yuxi, I want to discuss something with you. Son, what is it? Zhou Qilin asked with some confusion. Zhang Yuxi also looked at Lin Feng with curiosity. It's like this. When you were cooking just now, I mentioned to Dad that I wanted to change a house for our family. Now our family has some spare money. I think that the housing prices in the Magic City will definitely rise in the future. Now, buying a few houses can also be used as an investment. I will also buy a few houses in Beijing when I go to Beijing later, just as a fixed asset for our family. Lin Feng expressed his thoughts. Oh, buy so many. Zhou Qilin said in surprise. Mom, believe me, you will know in the future, and you may think that I bought too little by then. Lin Feng said with confidence. Lin Feng thought about the crazy rise in housing prices in the previous life, especially the housing prices in Beijing, which soared all the way and could not be stopped. By then, the housing prices in Beijing will be really expensive. Zhou Qilin saw her son was so sure. She looked at Lin Dashan, and although she was still a little hesitant in her heart, she nodded and agreed. After all, the money belongs to Lin Feng. Since he wants to do this, let him do it. Anyway, if it doesn't work out, he can sell the house and get back some of the money. After that, several people discussed it and finalized it. Tomorrow, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi will go to see the house first. After discussing the business, several people started chatting and talking about everything. Lin Dashan and Zhou Qilin were full of relief. They didn't lack money, Lin Feng was engaged, and life was getting better and better. Everything was developing in a good direction. Time passed quickly. It was 10 o'clock in the evening, and Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi also got up to wash up. After that, the two went back to the room to rest. Lying on the bed, Zhang Yuxi turned sideways and raised her little face to Lin Feng and said, Honey, I suddenly feel like all this is a dream. I suddenly met you, and then I was with you, and now we are engaged. I'm so afraid that all this is a dream, and then when I wake up, everything is gone. Oh. Lin Feng gently hugged Zhang Yuxi tightly and spoke softly. Little silly, although sometimes I also find it incredible, but all this is real. You are my wife, I am your husband, and we are engaged. Don't think about it, my silly wife. Lin Feng scratched Zhang Yuxi's little nose with a gentle face. Zhang Yuxi burrowed into Lin Feng's arms, her little face pressed against Lin Feng's chest, feeling Lin Feng's heartbeat. The strong heartbeat filled her heart with a sense of security. Then the two talked about the upcoming college life. "Honey, I heard that there are many beautiful women in Jingchang University," Zhang Yuxi said casually. When Lin Feng heard it, was this a trap? It seemed that Zhang Yuxi was saying something else. Lin Feng, who had a strong desire to survive, had countless images and answers flashing through his mind. He spoke quickly. "Oh, that has nothing to do with me. I am an engaged man, and in my eyes, there is no room for anyone else except you, my wife." "Yet," Zhang Yuxi said with satisfaction, and got deeper into Lin Feng's arms. "Huh?" Lin Feng breathed a sigh of relief. He felt that cold sweat was about to break out on his back, but fortunately he was smart. After chatting for a while, the two turned off the lights and went to bed. Soon, the sound of gentle and steady breathing sounded, and the two fell asleep. Chapter 965 Buying a House. There was no conversation that night. Early the next morning, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi woke up almost at the same time. "Good morning, my wife, husband." The two looked at each other and smiled happily. After being affectionate for a while, they got up and went to wash up. After breakfast, they took the car keys and wallets and went downstairs. They planned to go and see the property, and if they liked it, they would buy it directly. Then the two came to the parking lot. Since they were just going out, they drove the Ferrari 488 Pistaspiter. "Get in the car. Start the ignition." Boom. The engine of the sports car roared. Lin Feng stepped on the accelerator and the car drove out of the parking lot quickly. The two planned to go to the Yulongwen Villa District, the largest property in the Magic City, to have a look. That's right, Lin Feng planned to buy a villa for his family. Anyway, he is not short of money. It's easy for him to want money. Why not make himself live more comfortably and enjoy life? After all, he is now a rich man. When he told Zhang Yuxi about this before going to bed last night, Zhang Yuxi's face was full of shock. Zhang Yuxi knew that Lin Feng was rich, but she didn't expect that Lin Feng was so rich. But then she stopped thinking about it. The better and richer Lin Feng was, the better the man she chose and entrusted was. Her vision was really great. Soon, the two came to the sales center of Yulongwen Villa District. After Lin Feng parked the car, he took Zhang Yuxi's hand and walked into the sales center. As soon as they entered the door, a salesperson came up quickly. "Welcome. Excuse me, are you here to see the house or consult?" The salesperson asked enthusiastically. "Well, to see the building," Lin Feng said lightly. When the salesperson heard this, the smile on his face became even more intense. "Hello, sir. I am the property consultant of Yulongwen Villa District. My last name is Li. You can call me Xiaoli. We have single-family villas and townhouses here. What kind of apartment do you need?" "Well, I don't know much about this. Please take me there first," Lin Feng said casually. "Okay, sir. Mom, please follow me." The property consultant warmly welcomed the two of them and took them to a sand table of a townhouse area. "Sir, what is your name?" the property consultant asked respectfully. "My last name is Lin," Lin Feng answered casually. "Okay, Mr. Lin, this piece in front of you is our top townhouse in Yulongwen Villa District. Although it is a townhouse, its apartment is great. It is transparent from north to south and has good lighting. The villa covers an area of 200 square meters and is usable up to 350 square meters. The property consultant introduced it to Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. Lin Feng took a look at the townhouse on the sand table. It was beautiful, but it was a townhouse and lacked a certain degree of privacy. So Lin Feng shook his head. "Let's take a look at the single-family villas," he said casually. "Okay, Mr. Lin, Mrs. Lin, please follow me." The property consultant didn't say much. He still said to Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi with a smile on his face. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi followed the professional consultant and walked to another single-family villa sand table area. The single-family villas on this side looked much more comfortable. Lin Feng thought to himself, "Anyway, it doesn't matter that much, since I want to buy it, I must choose the best one." Then the property consultant began to introduce. "Mr. Lin, Mrs. Lin, this is the top luxury single-family villa in our Yulong Bay Villa District. The layout of these single-family villas is naturally impeccable. They are transparent from north to south, and there is no need to worry about the lighting. The villa covers an area of 300 square meters, and the usable area is up to 580 square meters. It is also equipped with a private garden and a private swimming pool. More importantly, the villas in the single-family villa area are far apart, and privacy is guaranteed to a certain extent. As for security, please rest assured. In the single-family villa area, our Yulong Bay is equipped with 24-hour security patrols, which guarantee security issues very well. Lin Feng nodded. This one looks pretty good. Then Lin Feng said lightly. Period. Can you take us to the site to see it in person? Yes, Mr. Lin, Mrs. Lin, please wait a moment, I will report to the company and get the key by the way. The property consultant said enthusiastically. Then the career consultant took Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi to the reception room, made tea for them and served them some cakes, and left in a hurry. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi looked at each other. Lin Feng spoke softly. Wife, what do you think of this villa? Yes, I think it looks pretty good. We can only be sure after we go to the site to see it. Zhang Yuxi said seriously. Tisk. At this time, a disdainful voice came from the side. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi both frowned, but did not pay attention. After all, the reception room is a public place, and there are other customers who come to see the house. The two chose to ignore it. Then Lin Feng spoke softly to Zhang Yuxi. Since my wife also thinks it's good, let's settle it after we see it on site. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded in response. Tisk, it sounds like the truth. At this time, another mocking voice rang out in the reception room. Lin Feng frowned again. He turned his head and looked in the direction where the voice came from. He saw a middle-aged man with a greasy face and powdered face smiling at him with disdain. Next to the oily-haired and powdered man, there was a middle-aged woman dressed in a very seductive way. At this moment, she was also looking at Lin Feng with disdain. Lin Feng frowned even more tightly, and the wrinkles on his forehead were almost enough to pinch a mosquito to death. Lin Feng was too lazy to bother with these two guys who had no quality and looked like nouveau riche. It would be cheap to bother with them. So Lin Feng glanced at them and chose to ignore them. The oily-haired and powdered man asked Lin Feng to ignore him and continued to make sarcastic sounds. People nowadays don't know how much they weigh. They come to the sales center all day to cheat for food and drink. After eating and drinking, they clap their hands and leave. It's a pity for those hard-working staff who run up and down. Lin Feng's face darkened. Zhang Yuxi pulled Lin Feng's hand, indicating that he should ignore this person. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's worried little face, and his heart softened, so he smiled at her. His face returned to calm. At this time, the property consultant just walked in hurriedly. She spoke to Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi with an apologetic look on her face. Mr. Lin, Mrs. Lin, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. Let's go now. Lin Feng nodded and was about to get up when he heard the middle-aged man with a greasy face continue to speak. Miss, real estate consultant, I advise you not to waste your energy. Can a villa be afforded by just any cat or dog? A successful person like me can only buy a large flat in Yulong Bay. Those two are so young, and they are obviously here to eat and drink for free. Chapter 966, 10 Million Villa. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were furious when they heard this. Then they heard the professional consultant speak seriously. Sir, thank you for your reminder, but as a property consultant, my professional ethics tells me that since the client has come to see the house, I have the obligation to take them to see the house. As for whether to buy it or not, it is naturally up to the client to decide after seeing it on site. Also, please don't insult my clients, thank you. The middle-aged man with a greasy face and powdered face didn't expect the professional consultant to react like this. He was a little confused by the retort. But the middle-aged woman next to him, who was dressed coquettishly, was not so easy to mess with. She jumped up instantly, pointing at the property consultant's nose and cursing. How can you be so ungrateful? My husband kindly reminded you that these two people are scammers. Why are you so ungrateful? The property consultant didn't expect the woman's reaction to be so intense, and was also confused for a moment. But Lin Feng couldn't bear it anymore. He spoke with a cold face. What kind of shrew is this here, cursing and spewing shit? Her mouth stinks like she's eaten shit. And you can't afford it yourself. It doesn't mean others can't afford it. You. The middle-aged shrew dressed in a seductive way was so angry at Lin Feng's words that she trembled all over, her fingers trembling and unable to speak. Lin Feng ignored her. Then he took out a bank card from his pocket and handed it to the property consultant. He spoke calmly. I want the one just now. Oh. The property consultant woke up instantly. She looked at Lin Feng in disbelief and said, Mr. Lin, do you mean you want the villa just now? Well, swipe the card. Lin Feng said in a calm tone. Mr. Lin, the price of the single-family villa just now is 38 million Chinese yuan. Are you sure you want it? The property consultant asked cautiously. Well, I want it. Go swipe the card. Lin Feng nodded and said casually. Well, Mr. Lin, how about we go to the site to have a look first? The property consultant hesitated and said. No, is the environment of the villa like what you said? Lin Feng asked casually. Yes. The property consultant nodded. That's fine, swipe the card, I believe you. As for what you said about going to the site, that's fine too. After completing the formalities, you can take us there. If you have any good suggestions for decoration, you can tell me. Lin Feng handed over the bank card again and said casually. Oh. The property consultant took the bank card handed over by Lin Feng with trembling hands. He nodded excitedly. Then, the property consultant prepared to take Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi to the counter to handle the formalities. At this time, the middle-aged man with the greasy hair and powdered face and the middle-aged woman dressed coquettishly were already stunned. They looked unbelievable, as if they had eaten shit and couldn't speak. Then Lin Feng and the other two turned around and were about to walk out of the reception room. When passing by the two people, Lin Feng spoke lightly. Mr. with greasy hair and powdered face, you are right. Some people just like to come here to pretend to be rich and eat and drink for free even though they have no money. Haha. The middle-aged man with the greasy hair and powdered face and the middle-aged woman dressed in seductive clothes knew that they had hit a wall, so they quickly dodged and ran away. Ran away. There was no other way. They could not afford to offend someone who could buy a villa worth 38 million yuan without blinking an eye. The three of them stood at the door of the reception room, watching the middle-aged man with the greasy hair and powdered face and the middle-aged woman dressed in seductive clothes run away. Oh, Pucci. Zhang Yuxi could not help laughing out loud. These two people were probably the kind of people who came here to eat and drink for free as they said, and they were scared by Lin Feng at this time. Then the property consultant looked at Lin Feng with a complicated look and said hesitantly. Mr. Lin, please keep the bank card. Let's go to see the house first and then make a decision. Lin Feng was a little surprised. He didn't expect that the property consultant could say such a thing. If this deal is completed, she will probably get a lot of commission. I didn't expect that she could resist this temptation. So Lin Feng said lightly. No, let's go through the formalities first and then go to see it. This. The property consultant showed a tangled look on his face. Lin Feng looked around and said casually. If you come back after the inspection and sign the contract, I don't think you want the commission of this deal to be snatched away by others, right? The property consultant glanced at the other property consultant standing not far away and ready to move. That's right, in this industry, people often use their connections to intercept. After coming back after the inspection, this order may not be the one that she can get the commission from. So she pursed her lips and said to Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi with a grateful face. Okay, thank you Mr. Lin and Mrs. Lin. Then the three of them went to handle the formalities. During the process of handling the formalities, the property consultant spoke. Mr. Lin, the original price of this villa is 38 million. If you pay the full amount, I can give you a discount. You only need to pay 37.5 million. Well, swipe the card. Lin Feng said indifferently. After completing the formalities, the property consultant hesitated at first, and then became determined. She said firmly. Mr. Lin, after the on-site viewing, if you are not satisfied, I will try my best to help you apply for a refund. Okay, let's go. Lin Feng said casually. After going out to the door of the sales center, the property consultant respectfully spoke to Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. Mr. Lin, Mrs. Lin, please follow me, the car is parked over there. Lin Feng waved his hand and said casually. No, you can lead the way in front, I will drive here. Ding ding. After saying that, he took Zhang Yuxi to his Ferrari 488 Pista Spitter. Oh. The property consultant saw Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi get on the sports car. She laughed at herself. That's right. How could someone who could easily take out tens of millions and buy a villa in full without blinking an eye not have a car? Then the property consultant hurried over, opened the cheap car provided by the company and got in. He quickly drove to the side of Lin Feng's car, rolled down the window, stuck his head out and spoke. Mr. Lin, just follow my car. Lin Feng nodded, indicating that she could lead the way. Then the three of them set off. About 15 minutes later, the three of them drove to the Yulongwan Villa district at the foot of Qingchang Mountain. After the property consultant showed his work permit, the three of them drove all the way to the door of the villa. After the property consultant got out of the car, she stood there respectfully waiting for Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi to get off. Mr. Lin, Mrs. Lin, this is our villa. Then she opened the gate of the villa yard with a key. Respectfully invited the two to go in. Mr. Lin, this is the front yard of the villa. This is a single-family villa with 2 underground floors and 3 above-ground floors. The usable area is large enough. The entire front yard is about 100 square meters in area and is equipped with a garden and a swimming pool. The property consultant introduced as he walked. Chapter 967 The Happiest Day in Life. Looking all the way down, Lin Feng looked at the style of the villa in front of him and was quite satisfied. This is a villa that gathers Chinese and Western characteristics. The combination of the two characteristics does not make people feel inconsistent. The whole villa has a romantic and solemn temperament. The high-ceilinged foyer and the magnificent door, the round arched windows and the stone masonry at the corners are all elegant and luxurious. Classical and cheerful, the spire-shaped sloping roof, the plastered wooden frame and the column decoration, the natural building materials and the vines climbing on them complement each other, classic and fashionable. Fresh and unconventional. The white plaster walls combined with the light red roof tiles, the continuous arches and corridors, and the living room with high windows make people feel excited. Simple symmetry highlights calmness, each room is a regular square, and the functional space division and location layout reflect the German rigor. Elegant and exquisite without lack of comfort, the porch and foyer stretch to the north and south, the living room, bedroom, etc. are equipped with low windows and hexagonal viewing bay windows. The restaurant is connected from north to south, and the indoor and outdoor scenes are integrated. It not only inherits the essence of traditional Chinese architecture, but also maintains the unique artistic style of traditional architecture that integrates elegance, simplicity and splendor. It takes nature as its refuge, advocates Confucianism, and incorporates Taoism and Buddhism. It is hidden and elegant. After taking a general look at the whole, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi looked at each other. The two were quite satisfied with the villa. The villa was indeed as the property consultant said, with almost no difference. The most important thing is that the whole villa is brand new and no one has moved in yet. What Lin Feng dislikes most is second-hand houses. Just like women, they always make people feel a little strange. After looking for a while, the property consultant asked Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi carefully. Mr. Lin, Mrs. Lin, are you satisfied with this villa? Yes. Lin Feng nodded casually. Then he spoke to the property consultant. Well, that's all for today. You go and do your work first. We can go by ourselves later. Okay, Mr. Lin, I'll put the property certificate, transfer documents, spare keys, etc. in this file bag for you. She handed the file bag to Lin Feng. After Lin Feng took it, the property consultant spoke again. Mr. Lin, if you have any questions in the future, please feel free to contact me. I will help you deal with it. I also put my business card in the file bag. Okay. Lin Feng nodded. He was quite satisfied with the service work of this property consultant. That's okay. I'm leaving first. Mr. Lin, Mrs. Lin, goodbye. The property consultant said with a smile. Then he turned around and left. Wait. Lin Feng suddenly remembered something and said. Mr. Lin, do you have any instructions? The property consultant paused, then turned around and asked respectfully. Oh, by the way, what's your name? Lin Feng asked casually. Mr. Lin, my name is Ling, you can just call me Xiaohe. The property consultant said with a smile. Ling, huh? You did a good job, I'll remember you. Lin Feng said casually. Thank you, thank you. Thank you Mr. Lin for recognizing my work. Property consultant Ling said with a smile. Well, by the way, Miss He, does your company have any other houses besides Yulong Bay Villa? Lin Feng asked casually. Mr. Lin, yes, Yes. In addition to the villa area, our company also has some commercial houses. Well, by the way, the large flat that the middle-aged man with oily hair and powdered face mentioned before also has. Mr. Lin, do you need it? Property consultant Healing said excitedly. Well, please write down my email address and send the information of these houses to my email address later. I will contact you after I have read it. Lin Feng said after thinking for a while. Okay. Thank you Mr. Lin for giving me the opportunity. It is my honor to serve Mr. Lin and Mrs. Lin. Healing said with gratitude. She felt that today was the happiest day of her life. The commission for this villa alone is over $1 million. And meeting such a big customer like Lin Feng, there may be big orders in the future, how can she not be excited? Afterwards, she wrote down Lin Feng's email address, thanked him again and left. Healing went downstairs of the villa and looked at a broken car provided by the company. At this moment, she felt so pleasing to the eye. She looked back at the gate of the villa again, with a firm gaze, resolutely opened the car door, got in, started the car and left. She drove to the company's sales center, humming a little song along the way, feeling extremely happy, and her hard work finally paid off. Soon Healing returned to the sales center. As soon as she walked into the sales office, the sales manager greeted her with a smile on his face. Xiaohui, congratulations. You did a good job this time. This is a big customer, you must maintain a good relationship. Yes, manager, I understand, I will. Healing also replied with a smile on her face. Well, keep going. I'm optimistic about you. The sales manager patted her on the shoulder and encouraged her. Then she left after she finished speaking. At this time, several colleagues pointed at her and whispered. Isn't this guy just lucky? Yes. He was just lucky to meet a big client. What's so good about it? Yes, if you give it to me, I can do it too. These words reached Healing's ears. She stood there and clenched her fist. Lucky? Maybe. But more importantly, no matter what kind of client she receives, she is dedicated and responsible, which is why she has today's reward. She shook her head and smiled, no longer paying attention to the gossip of her colleagues, and turned back to her post to sort out the information seriously. She wanted to sort out the house information for Lin Feng and send it to his email, maybe there will be more opportunities. And in the villa, Lin Feng sighed. At this time, Zhang Yuxi looked at the layout of the villa with excitement, looking around, full of curiosity. And Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's excited and happy look, and couldn't help but smile. Lin Feng, will this be our home in the future? Zhang Yuxi's little face was full of happiness, and she looked at Lin Feng excitedly and said. Lin Feng looked at her delicate face, which looked very lovely at the moment. He gently took her into his arms and spoke softly. Well, little fool, this will be our home in the future. Yeah. Zhang Yuxi nodded seriously in Lin Feng's arms and responded with a smile. Yuxi, I plan to tear down everything here and redecorate it according to our preferences. Lin Feng said softly. Wouldn't it be too wasteful? Zhang Yuxi said hesitantly. Little fool, how could it be? The original decoration materials here are not very good. Since you are going to move in, let's redecorate it. Anyway, your husband is not short of that little money. Lin Feng rubbed Zhang Yuxi's little head and said with a smile. Okay. In that case, I want to design the decoration style myself. Zhang Yuxi got out of Lin Feng's arms and said excitedly. Chapter 968, Money is really not spending. Afterwards, Zhang Yuxi started to walk around the villa. Lin Feng looked at her happy face and smiled and shook his head. Sure enough, the economic base determines the superstructure. If you have money, you naturally have to enjoy life. Although even if he has no money, Lin Feng is confident that Zhang Yuxi will not despise him, and the two will still live happily together. But since you can live a rich and comfortable life, who would despise it? No one in this world would complain about having too much money. Lin Feng thought about it, and spent tens of millions of dollars at once. The money is really not durable. But for Lin Feng, making money is just a piece of cake. Not to mention the money given by the system's perfect blessing every day. Just with his current abilities, it would only take a few minutes to make money. Besides, if it's really bad, with master-level investment and financial management skills, if you are short of money, just go to the stock market and make a wave. What's more, even if there is no system, Lin Feng himself is going to start a company during college. With his experience as a reborn person in the previous life and his prophetic vision that surpasses everyone, making money is not just as simple. So, money is really not a thing for Lin Feng. Lin Feng shook his head, smiled, and stopped thinking about it. At this time, Zhang Yuxi called him. Lin Feng, come here. Lin Feng smiled and walked towards the direction of Zhang Yuxi's voice. Lin Feng just walked in front of Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi grabbed Lin Feng's hand and said happily, Lin Feng, I like this terrace so much. I want to make it into a leisure area and plant a few pots of flowers. We can sit here and enjoy the night view at night. It will definitely be very comfortable. Okay, everything is up to you. My little fool. Lin Feng pinched Zhang Yuxi's little nose and said with a doting face. And, there's also, we can set aside a piece of the garden downstairs and plant some vegetables and fruits, so that we can eat fresh and healthy vegetables and fruits. Zhang Yuxi continued, her eyes full of expectations for the future. Lin Feng smiled and nodded in agreement. He looked at Zhang Yuxi's happy look, and a sense of happiness surged in his heart. When I live my life again, what I want is for my parents, Zhang Yuxi, and the people around me to be happy, right? So in this life, I should be free and follow my heart. After discussing for a while, the two planned to go home first. The specific decoration design needs to be planned carefully when I go back, and I have to say hello to Lin Feng's parents anyway. So the two went downstairs and locked the door. After getting in the car, Lin Feng started the car and the car drove away. When I got home, it was exactly 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Catcha. As soon as I opened the door, a smell of food came towards me. Oh, you two are really punctual. I just wanted to call and ask if you would come back for dinner. Zhou Qilin came out of the kitchen and saw Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi coming in. She said with a smile. Haha, Mom, what delicious food are you making? It smells so good. Lin Feng said with a smile, and while talking, he stepped forward and tried to eat with his hands. Zhou Qilin slapped Lin Feng's hand away, glared at him, and said dissatisfiedly. Go, it's so dirty. Go wash your hands, you are so grown up and still eat with your hands. Oh. Lin Feng smiled awkwardly and hurried to wash his hands. Puff. He. Zhang Yuxi looked at his embarrassed look from behind and couldn't help laughing. After Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi came out of the wash, Lin Feng's father, Lin Dashan, also came back. Lin Dashan put down his things, washed his hands, and sat down. It's time to eat. Zhou Qilin looked at the father and son wolfing down their food. She couldn't help but joked. What's wrong with you two today? You usually don't show up at noon, but you made an appointment to come back for lunch today. Oh. Lin Feng and Lin Dashan looked at each other. Both of them looked embarrassed and didn't dare to speak. Zhou Qilin was blaming them for not being seen all day. If she said one more word, she might be punished. So the two didn't dare to speak, and could only be silent and eat. After dinner, Lin Feng said to Lin Dashan and Zhou Qilin. Dad, Mom, I went upstairs today and bought a house. I told you. Ah. You bought it so soon. Zhou Qilin was a little surprised. I didn't expect that Lin Feng had just said he would buy a house last night, and he bought it today. Compared to Zhou Qilin's surprise, Lin Dashan was much calmer. He slowly asked. Well, where did you buy it? Oh, I bought the Yulongwan Villa district at the foot of Qingchang Mountain. Lin Feng said casually. Villa? How much did it cost? Zhou Qilin asked curiously. Well, Mom, it's not much, just tens of millions. Lin Feng said lightly. Zhou Qilin. Lin Dashan. Not much money. Just tens of millions. Zhou Qilin and Lin Dashan were a little speechless. Lin Feng is getting more and more arrogant. However, the two thought about it and thought that tens of millions were not bad for them now, so they didn't say much. Then Lin Feng told Lin Dashan and his wife about his redesign and renovation. The two had no objection. Anyway, they had already spent so much money, so it didn't matter. Lin Feng took out a floor plan of the villa from the file bag, and the family excitedly planned it. Zhou Qilin was most concerned about the kitchen and the garden, which coincided with her daughter-in-law Zhang Yuxi. The two agreed that the kitchen must be big enough, and vegetables and fruits must be planted in the garden. This made Lin Feng and Lin Dashan feel that they were treating the villa garden as a country vegetable field. The father and son looked at each other, both helpless women. And Lin Dashan proposed to make a rockery and a fish pond, raise some koi or something. The rest was almost planned by Lin Feng alone, and no one else had any objections. The family used their imagination and put forward their own opinions. Soon, the whole villa was planned out. The next step is to find a design company and let him make the design drawings according to his own ideas to see the effect. And find a more reliable decoration company to decorate. It is likely that when Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi come back for the new year during the winter break of their freshman year, the family will be able to move into the new villa. Lin Feng was just about to ask his father, Lin Deshan, if he knew anyone who was engaged in decoration. After all, his father worked in an advertising company and might deal with people in this field. At this time, Lin Feng's cell phone rang. Quietly holding the blue and white token and keeping the promise, parting is always spent in frustration. Lin Feng took out his cell phone and saw that it was Liang Wei who called, and he didn't know what it was about. So he pressed the answer button. Hello. Brother Feng, it's me. Lin Feng. Nonsense, I know it's you. Lin Feng was a little speechless and said unhappily. He. Brother Feng, what have you been doing these days? Busy enjoying the world of two people with my sister-in-law Yuxi. Liang Wei joked. Chapter 969, What major should I choose? Oh, you kid, stop talking nonsense, what's the matter with you calling me? Brother Feng, look at what you said, I'm just concerned about you. Well, it's like this, the video of your engagement banquet at Yangcheng Hotel was circulated, and everyone was shocked by the design of the entire banquet hall. Now, Yangcheng Hotel has become popular because of this, and your designs, Brother Feng, have become the hotel's signature. And that banquet hall, after you got engaged, Brother Feng, I asked someone to clean it up and seal it up. No one else is allowed to enter. I didn't expect someone to find me these few days and want to rent that banquet hall to hold a banquet. I thought that this was specially designed by you, Brother Feng, for sister-in-law Yuxi, so I didn't agree. But these 2 days someone found me through my old man's relationship, and begged me to rent that banquet hall to hold their son's wedding. There was no way. I had no choice but to ask you, Brother Feng, what you think. If you don't agree, I will refuse him even if I have to be scolded. Liang Wei told the whole thing in one breath. Lin Feng thought about it. He owed Liang Wei so many favors before. Even when he held the engagement banquet there last time, Liang Wei refused to accept the money, saying that it was an engagement gift for Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. Unexpectedly, he didn't even seal up the entire floor and didn't open it to the public. This is already very considerate. Lin Feng hesitated for a moment and spoke into the phone. It's okay, you can open the banquet hall to the public. It will just happen to become a special signboard of Yangcheng Hotel in the future. I'm fine and I have no objection. Don't worry. Oh, Brother Feng, don't worry about me. It's okay if I refuse. If you don't want others to use it, we won't bother him. Liang Wei was afraid that Lin Feng would feel uncomfortable, so he hesitated and spoke again. Oh, I really don't care. But I have a condition, the layout and scenes inside should not be changed as much as possible. Oh, Brother Feng, it's grand. As for not changing the scene layout, that's no problem. People originally came for this layout and it won't be changed. I can't bear to change such a beautiful design. I promise Brother Feng here that the layout inside the banquet hall will not be changed in the future. Well, it doesn't matter, open it to the public, and treat it as a small gift from me to you. Lin Feng said casually. Well, my Brother Feng is still good to me. It's grand. Oh, by the way, do you know any decoration companies? Lin Feng asked casually. What? Decoration company? Liang Wei asked with some confusion. Well, decoration company. Lin Feng said it again. Well, Brother Feng, why are you looking for a decoration company? Are you redecorating your house? Liang Wei asked. You can also say that I bought a suite and want to redecorate it. Lin Feng said casually. Oh, so, then we have to renovate it well, Brother Feng, how big is it? Liang Wei thought for a while and asked. Well, about a few hundred square meters. Lin Feng said casually. A few hundred square meters. Brother Feng, did you buy a villa? Liang Wei asked uncertainly. Yes, it's a villa, at the foot of the magic city. Lin Feng replied. Damn. It really is a villa? Exclamation mark. Brother Feng, awesome. Brother Feng, I'm really convinced. You bought a villa without saying anything. I feel a little stressed out by you. I've been running that hotel for so long, and I've only made a few million, which is not enough for me to modify my car. Woo woo woo. Li Yangwei was shocked at first, and then said helplessly, "Stop talking nonsense. Do you know a decoration company?" Lin Feng chose to ignore his crying. Li Yangwei's family didn't know how much money he had. What's the point of crying? Oh, Brother Feng, you don't have any sympathy at all. Okay, I know the decoration company. The decoration company that helped me decorate this hotel is pretty good. I'll ask their boss to contact you, Brother Feng." After complaining about Lin Feng, Li Yangwei said seriously, "Okay, ask him to contact me. Nothing else. I'll hang up first." After saying that, Lin Feng hung up the phone without waiting for Li Yangwei to speak. There's no way, Li Yangwei is too long-winded, he's almost as nagging as Lao Jiang Anman. Huh? Lin Feng exhaled and stood on the balcony looking at the night view outside. That's right, when he answered the phone just now, he walked to the balcony. After all, Zhang Yuxi was chatting with his parents there. Since Li Yangwei agreed to help the decoration company, then this matter is basically settled. Li Yangwei is still very reliable when it comes to doing business. Lin Feng put away his phone and turned to walk into the living room. Seeing the three people looking at him curiously, Lin Feng said casually, "Well, a friend. Oh, by the way, my friend helped me find a decoration company, so I don't have to worry about it." Oh. The three of them nodded casually. Since Lin Feng said it was solved, there was no need to say anything else. Then, Zhang Yuxi suddenly spoke. "Lin Feng, our head teacher, Teacher Chen, just called and reminded me that I have to go to school tomorrow to fill out the application." Huh? So soon? Lin Feng said in surprise. At this time, his mobile phone suddenly rang. Ding ding ding. Lin Feng picked up the phone and saw that it turned out to be a message from his head teacher, He-song, saying that he couldn't get through to him, and sent a message to remind him to go back to school tomorrow to fill out the application. Lin Feng thought that it was probably because he was talking to Li Yangwei just now, so his head teacher He-song couldn't get through. He smiled and replied with a message to show that he knew. Lin Dashan looked at the two of them and suddenly spoke. "What majors are you two going to apply for?" This topic was discussed before by Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi plans to apply for the financial management major at Peking University and Tsinghua University, while Lin Feng plans to apply for the computer major at Peking University and Tsinghua University, and then take a minor in financial management, so that he can be with Zhang Yuxi. As for why Lin Feng chose computer science, that's because the technology industry will be more profitable in the future. Choosing a computer science major can get in touch with some technology talents in advance, and then the one who is close to the water will get the moon first. In fact, the saying "the one who is close to the water will get the moon first" is all nonsense. With Lin Feng's ability and money, what is he afraid of not having talents? Choosing computer science major is purely because Lin Feng is interested. So Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi looked at each other. Zhang Yuxi nodded. Lin Feng slowly spoke to his parents. "Dad, Mom, Yuxi and I have discussed this matter. Yuxi plans to apply for the financial management major at Peking University and Tsinghua University. As for me, I want to apply for the computer major at Peking University and Tsinghua University. Well, I can just take a minor in financial management." Lin Dashan nodded. Zhou Qilin looked at Lin Feng with some concern and said, "Son, you are studying 2 majors, so when you graduate, will you have a double degree? But can you handle such a high intensity of study?" "Mom, it's okay. With your son's learning ability, it will be easy for him. Don't worry," Lin Feng said, patting his chest. But Zhou Qilin wanted to say something, but was interrupted by Lin Dashan. "Okay, wife, don't worry about this kid. He has grown up and has his own plans. Just let him go." Seeing her husband Lin Dashan say this, Zhou Qilin stopped talking. It was also because Lin Feng had grown up and had his own ideas. Moreover, what Lin Feng did these days was quite reliable, so she felt relieved. Chapter 970 Goodbye, My High School Life. Time flies. The next morning, after Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi got up, washed up and had breakfast, they went out to school to fill in their applications. Lin Feng still drove his cool Ferrari 488 Pistaspiter. Lin Feng drove the car all the way into the school. Anyway, they have graduated, so there is no need to worry about any bad influence. They drove all the way to the teaching building of the senior year, and after Lin Feng parked the car, the two got out of the car. Lin Feng's car instantly attracted the attention of the passing classmates. Except for the old Jiang Anmin, no one else had seen Lin Feng's car. A classmate in the class recognized Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. He hurriedly stepped forward and said, "Wow. Brother Feng, it's really you. Your car is so awesome and beautiful." He. Lin Feng smiled and didn't say much. Then several more classmates gathered around and greeted Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. Seeing that more and more people were gathered around, Lin Feng smiled and said, "Okay, classmates, we'll talk about the car later. Let's go to the classroom first. Otherwise, the teacher will get impatient and scold us, ha ha ha." After saying that, Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi's hand and went upstairs. When they reached the second floor, Zhang Yuxi went back to the classroom first, while Lin Feng returned to the classroom of class 3-5 of senior high school, surrounded by his classmates. As soon as he entered the classroom, Lin Feng felt a sense of emotion. This might be the last time he would step into this classroom. Lin Feng shook his head and walked to his seat. His deskmate, old Zhang Anmin, had already sat in his seat, waiting for Lin Feng with a lewd smile on his face. Pa. Lin Feng walked to his seat and slapped old Zhang Anmin on the head. Old Zhang Anmin paused his lewd smile and said with some grievance, "Brother Feng, what's wrong? You hit me as soon as you meet me." Lin Feng glanced at him and spoke slowly. "It's okay, I just feel itchy." Old Zhang Anmin. "Brother Feng, you can't be like this. I'll go to sister-in-law Yuxi to complain, saying that you hit me for no reason." Zhang Anmin said with a wronged look. Lin Feng looked at him straight and spoke slowly. "Do you really want to know why I hit you?" Old Zhang Anmin was a little scared by Lin Feng's eyes. He smiled awkwardly and spoke weakly. "Brother Feng, don't look at me like that, I'm afraid." Lin Feng. Then Lin Feng glared at him and said unhappily, "You are afraid too? What does it mean when you looked at me with a lewd smile on your face just now? What's the matter, you want to fence with me? I tell you, you wish. I have a wife." Old Zhang Anmin. So he was beaten because he had a lewd smile on his face? Question mark. It's unfair, my smile is very normal, how can there be a lewd smile? But speaking of it, what is the meaning of fencing? Exclamation mark. Zhang Anmin was confused. He asked Lin Feng weakly. "Brother Feng, what does fencing mean? Is it fun?" Lin Feng. Then Lin Feng said unhappily, "Get lost, I don't know. If you want to know, you can find someone to try it." After that, he ignored Zhang Anmin. At this time, the class teacher He Song walked in from outside the classroom with a stack of things. In an instant, the whole classroom became quiet. He Song nodded with satisfaction. The class teacher's prestige is still there. He walked up to the podium and looked around at everyone, and said with a smile on his face, "Classmates, first of all, congratulations on the successful completion of the college entrance examination. Our senior class 3-5 has achieved good results as a whole. I am very pleased with this. Although some students did not perform very well in the exam, the teacher is here. I hope these students will not be discouraged, keep working hard, calm down, and repeat a year. It is okay. Next year, you will definitely get good results. Okay, today is the day to fill in the college entrance examination application. First of all, I wish you all can be admitted to your favorite university in advance. After today, your high school career will be completely over. You still have a long time to live in the future. I hope you can keep your original aspirations in mind and keep working hard so that you can have a good development in the future. Next, I will talk about some precautions for filling in the application, and then the students will go to the computer room with me to fill in their college entrance examination applications." He Song continued with a smile. "Okay, monitor, come up and help distribute these materials. Just treat it as your last service to the students." Then, the monitor hurriedly stepped forward to take the materials from the class leader, He Song, and distributed them to the students. The students took the materials in their hands and read them carefully. Lin Feng then remembered that he didn't seem to know how many points his deskmate Lao Zhang Anmin got. So he turned to Zhang Anmin and asked, "By the way, Lao Zhang, how many points did you get in the college entrance examination?" Lao Zhang Anmin looked embarrassed and said a little embarrassedly, "Brother Feng, let's not talk about this, we are still good friends." Lin Feng. He rolled his eyes at Lao Zhang Anmin and said unhappily, "Tell me, how many points, I'll give you a reference." This, 250 points. Lao Zhang Anmin said embarrassedly. 250. Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Anmin with a complicated expression and said speechlessly, This score is quite suitable for you. Brother Feng. Lao Jiang Anmin said with a wry smile. Tell me, what do you think? Do you want to go to junior college or repeat a year? Lin Feng asked with a serious face. Lao Jiang Anmin pondered for a while, raised his head and looked at Lin Feng seriously. Brother Feng, I want to repeat another year. I will work hard this year. I'm going to quit playing games. Yes. Lin Feng nodded. What about the novel? Have you quit it too? Lin Feng asked casually. Oh, I can't quit reading novels. I can only try not to read them during class. Old Zhang Anmin said with a heartbroken face. Lin Feng. Then Lin Feng looked at him with a complicated face and spoke. Old Zhang, listen to my advice. Except for that nanny novel, which is well written, rich in content, and full of positive energy, and the author's intention is to make people know how to cherish the present, work hard to live every day, and not leave regrets in their lives. You can continue to read this, but don't read the others. Oh, okay. Brother Feng, I listen to you. Now the author only updates twice a day, and it's still far from being completed. I will reward the author tomorrow to urge him to write quickly, write more vigorously, and then finish the book quickly. After reading it, I will calm down and concentrate on repeating for another year. Old Zhang Anmin said seriously. Yes. Keep working hard, I'll be waiting for you in Beijing. Lin Feng patted his shoulder and encouraged him. Oh, Brother Feng, have you decided which university to go to? Old Zhang Anmin asked curiously. Yes, I'll go to Tsinghua or Peking University. Lin Feng said casually. Is that sister-in-law Yuxi too? Old Zhang Anmin said. Well, we'll go together. Okay. Old Zhang Anmin said with envy. Then he spoke again with a serious face. Brother Feng, you wait for me for a year, and I'll go to Beijing next year too. Okay. Lin Feng had just finished speaking when the class teacher He Song clapped his hands and said, Classmates, have you all read the precautions for filling out the application form? Come with me now, let's go to the computer room and start filling out the application form. Don't rush to confirm it later. If you have any questions, you can ask me first. Okay. Then, the classmates stood up one after another and walked towards the computer room in the Science and Technology building. Lin Feng and his deskmate Zhang Anmin were the last to leave the classroom. Lin Feng closed the door casually, and finally looked back at the bottom of the classroom of class 3-5. Goodbye. My high school life. Then he and Lao Zhang and Zhang Anmin resolutely walked forward and caught up with a large group of classmates. Horizontal ellipsis. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 971 Admission Letter. Soon, Lin Feng filled in the application form according to the application requirements. Just as planned. Lin Feng only applied to one school, that is, Peking University and Tsinghua University. He also only filled in a computer major. As for the financial management major, he would have to apply for a minor when school starts. At this time, the class teacher He Song came over and asked Lin Feng with a smile on his face. How is it? Which school did you apply for? What major? Haha, I applied for Peking University and Tsinghua University, computer major. Lin Feng smiled and replied. Well, you kid, you have to work hard when you go to Beijing in the future. He Song patted Lin Feng on the shoulder and encouraged him. Well, I know. Oh, by the way, when you come back from winter vacation, I hope you will no longer be alone. Lin Feng teased him. Oh, you kid. Can you stop mentioning this all the time? He Song hit Lin Feng and said unhappily. Ha ha ha. Lin Feng looked at his classmates who were still thinking about which school to apply for. He took out his mobile phone to check the time, and then said to He Song. Teacher, how about I go first? I'll go see how Yuxi is doing. He Song also glanced at the other students. It was estimated that they would not be able to finish filling out the application in a short time, so he nodded. Go. You are always thinking about your fiancé, showing off your affection every day. Get out of here. Lin Feng laughed, then said hello to his deskmate Zhang Anmin and quietly slipped out the back door. After Lin Feng came out, he called Zhang Yuxi and learned that Zhang Yuxi had also finished filling out the application. So Lin Feng went to find her, and the two went home together. This time they went back to Zhang Yuxi's house. Because Zhang Yuxi's mother hadn't seen her daughter for a few days yesterday, she called and asked the two to go back for dinner. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi happened to have something to discuss with him, so they agreed to go over for lunch after filling out the application today. Lin Feng drove the car, and soon the two returned to the downstairs of Zhang Yuxi's community. After parking the car, the two went upstairs hand in hand. Knock, knock, knock. Lin Feng knocked on the door of Zhang Yuxi's house. Click. Soon, the door opened. Zhao Lizian said to the two with a smile on her face. Lin Feng, Yuxi, you are back. Yes, hello, auntie. Lin Feng greeted with a smile. Then the two entered the house. Sitting on the sofa, Zhao Lizian asked about the two's college entrance examination volunteers. After learning that they had filled it out, she felt relieved. With a satisfied smile on her face, she went into the kitchen to prepare lunch. Lin Feng wanted to help, but Zhao Lizian pushed him out. She said that he and Yuxi could just watch TV for a while, and the meal would be ready soon. Soon, the meal was ready, and at this time Zhang Yuxi's father Zhang Fuiong also came back. The four sat at the dining table and ate and talked. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Fuiong and Zhao Lizian and spoke. Uncle and Aunt, Yuxi and I plan to leave for Beijing in advance after receiving the admission letter in a few days, and get familiar with the environment of Beijing. Is that okay? Oh, there's still a long time before school starts. Are you going there so soon? But it's not impossible. How are you two going to get there? Do you need us to accompany you? Zhao Lizian said with some surprise. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi looked at each other, and Lin Feng said, Uncle and Aunt, no, Yuxi and I can go by ourselves. Well, we plan to drive there, just like last time, stopping and going along the way, just like traveling. We will pay attention to safety, don't worry. Zhao Lizian and Zhang Fuiong hesitated for a while and nodded. Okay, you two must pay attention to safety. Find a place to rest when you are tired, and don't drive while tired. Yes, Uncle and Aunt, don't worry, we understand. Lin Feng nodded solemnly. Then the family had a happy meal. Days passed by one after another. Ordinary but with a hint of sweetness. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi stuck together every day, like conjoined twins, and they didn't get tired of each other at all. During this period, the villa in Yulong Bay at the foot of Qingchang Mountain had already started to be renovated. And Lin Feng also found the previous property consultant He Ling, and with her introduction, he bought several houses in several good residential areas in Shanghai. The days passed quietly like flowing water. These days, Lin Feng played with Zhang Yuxi every day, went to Qingchang Mountain for a walk from time to time, and occasionally had dinner and drinks with Lao Zhang Anmin, Li Yan, Li Yangwei and others. His life was extremely leisurely and comfortable. This morning, Lin Feng received a call from the postal courier, saying that he had received mail. Lin Feng thought that it should be the admission letter. Lin Feng went to the security guard's mail room downstairs and took the mail. After returning home and opening it, it was indeed the admission letter from Peking University and Tsinghua University as he expected. The admission letter of Peking University and Tsinghua University is very unique. When the entire letter is opened, it is the school's gate building, which is said to be designed by the seniors of the school. Lin Feng smiled and put the letter aside. At this time, Zhang Yuxi also sent a message to tell Lin Feng that her letter of admission had arrived. In this case, then the day of departure for Beijing should be put on the agenda. Lin Feng called Zhang Yuxi and made an appointment to drive to Beijing together at noon. At about noon, Lin Feng drove to Zhang Yuxi's community to pick her up, and the two went to the city center to shop together. With the experience of the last trip to Sichuan in Tibet, the two quickly bought all the supplies they needed on the road. During this period, Lin Feng remembered that he hadn't bought clothes and gifts for Zhang Yuxi for a long time, so he took Zhang Yuxi to shop again. And Zhang Yuxi also helped Lin Feng choose a bunch of clothes. In short, this shopping trip was full of gains. Then Lin Feng sent Zhang Yuxi back home first, and asked her to pack some important documents and necessary things first. Then after saying hello to Zhao Lizian and Zhang Fuiong, the two returned to Lin Feng's home together. The two planned to set off early tomorrow morning, and they would live together today for convenience. During dinner, Lin Feng also told his parents that he would leave for Beijing tomorrow. Lin Dashan and Zhou Qilan and his wife had no objection. At this time, Zhou Qilan suddenly remembered something, She got up and walked back to the room and took out something and handed it to Lin Feng. Then she spoke with a complicated face. Son, take this medal. If you encounter any trouble that you can't solve, you can take it to the military district family compound and someone will help you solve it. Okay. After Lin Feng took it, he put the things away and put them in his luggage. If possible, Lin Feng plans to never use this medal. Then seeing that it was getting late, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi got up to wash and go to bed. After all, they had to set off early tomorrow morning. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi lay on the bed, full of expectations for the upcoming trip to Beijing. In full of expectations, the two fell asleep. Chapter 972. Why is this guy here? Early the next morning, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi set off. Except for their parents, they did not notify anyone and left quietly. They drove all the way towards the morning glow and gradually drove out of the territory of the magic city. Since they had not yet entered the highway, Lin Feng was not driving fast. Zhang Yuxi rolled down the window, looked at the morning glow, and admired the scenery along the way, feeling happy. Zhang Yuxi suddenly spoke up. Lin Feng, this feels like the last trip. Aha. It is indeed a bit like, hee. Lin Feng smiled and responded. The two chatted while driving, and soon the car got on the highway. After driving for a while, Zhang Yuxi yawned, and her little face was full of sleepiness. Lin Feng turned his head and looked at her, and said with a doting smile, My dear wife, if you are sleepy, take a nap. I will wake you up to eat when we get to the service area. Zhang Yuxi originally wanted to accompany Lin Feng, but she was too sleepy, mainly because she got up too early today. She was so sleepy that her eyelids were fighting and she couldn't hold on any longer. She looked at Lin Feng with an apologetic look on her face. Honey, I'm sorry, I'm really sleepy. Little fool, it's okay, go to sleep. Lin Feng said, holding the steering wheel with one hand, and reached to the back seat with the other hand to get a blanket. My dear wife, cover yourself with a blanket before you go to sleep, otherwise I'm afraid you will catch a cold. Lin Feng said gently. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded happily and took the blanket. Lin Feng then closed the car window and adjusted the air conditioner in the car to the most suitable temperature, and then he felt relieved. Zhang Yuxi was covered with a blanket, and the temperature in the car was just right, so she fell asleep soon. A slight breathing sound was heard, and Lin Feng turned his head to look at Zhang Yuxi who had fallen asleep. He smiled and drove the car seriously, trying to drive the car more smoothly so that Zhang Yuxi could sleep more peacefully. Time passed quickly. Lin Feng drove all the way, although he was a little bored alone. But every time he turned his head to look at Zhang Yuxi who was sleeping soundly, there was no boredom at all. His heart was full of happiness. After driving for a while, it was almost noon. Lin Feng planned to rest at the next service area and go to have lunch with Zhang Yuxi. Lin Feng stepped on the accelerator and soon entered the service area. After Lin Feng parked the car, he gently pinched Zhang Yuxi's little nose. Zhang Yuxi frowned, her eyelashes trembled, and she slowly opened her eyes. She was a little confused, reached out and rubbed her hazy eyes, and then woke up a little. She looked at Lin Feng a little confused. Lin Feng, where is this? Are we there? Haha, little fool, how can it be so fast? We are in the service area now. It's noon. Let's go have a meal and take a rest. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's confused and cute appearance and smiled gently. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi just got off the car when a figure suddenly rushed out in front of them. They were startled. Brother Feng. The person shouted loudly. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi looked closely. Oh my god. Why is it him? Brother Feng, you are so mean. You didn't even tell me that you went to Beijing. If I hadn't gone to your house to find you and your uncle and aunt hadn't told me, I wouldn't have known that you had secretly left. The person said with some dissatisfaction. Oh, Brother Yang Wei, why are you here? Lin Feng asked in surprise. That's right. The person was Li Yang Wei. He rolled his eyes at Lin Feng and said unhappily. Brother Feng, how dare you say that? You are traveling to Beijing by car. How can you miss me for such a fun thing? Thank goodness I drove all the way and caught up with you here. Fortunately, Lin Feng's speed was not very fast, otherwise Li Yangwei would probably not be able to catch up with him. Oh, I'm going up ahead of time, and I'm waiting for the start of school. You're a high school student, why are you going to Beijing? Lin Feng asked in confusion. Well, I want to play with you guys too. Li Yangwei said with a look of embarrassment. By the way, Brother Feng, There's another person you know too. Liang Yi suddenly said mysteriously. Lin Feng looked around, but didn't see anyone else. He and Zhang Yuxi looked at each other, both of them were curious. At this time, a chubby figure ran over from the bathroom. He shouted while running. Brother Feng. Brother Feng. It's me. The smile on his face was like a chrysanthemum, and the chubby face was wrinkled with laughter. Lin Feng. Wow! Exclamation mark. Why is this guy here too? Exclamation mark. And how did Liang Yi and him hook up? Exclamation mark. A series of question marks appeared in Lin Feng's mind. Question mark? The chubby figure had already run in front of Lin Feng and the others. He looked at Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi with a smile on his face and said, Hello, Brother Feng. Hello, Sister Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi smiled and nodded. And Lin Feng had a black question mark on his face at this time. Question mark? Old Zhang, why are you here too? Lin Feng saw the lewd smile on old Zhang Anmin's face and said unhappily. Oh, Brother Feng, well, I miss you. Old Zhang Anmin said a little embarrassedly. Lin Feng. Miss your sister. Old Zhang, this guy is still so unreliable. Wait, how did these two get together? Exclamation mark. Lin Feng looked at Liang Wei and Zhang Anmin, and asked with a suspicious face. How did you two get together? Heh. Liang Wei and Zhang Anmin smiled at each other. You tell me. You tell me. The two said at the same time. Heh. The two looked at each other again and laughed again. Lin Feng. Stop talking nonsense, what's going on? Lin Feng looked at the two funny guys and said unhappily. Well, Brother Feng, I went to your house to find you. I originally wanted to talk about the decoration, but I happened to run into Brother Zhang Anmin. And Uncle and Aunt said that you just drove to Beijing this morning. Brother Zhang Anmin and I discussed and wanted to play with you, so we came. Oh, then you two are very compatible. Lin Feng said helplessly. Yes, Brother Zhang Anmin and I get along very well. It's a pity that we met too late. Liang Yi said with a smile. Lin Feng. Lin Feng was speechless again. Does your family know that you're out? Lin Feng thought for a while and asked seriously. Brother Feng, don't worry, I have told my family. Old Zhang Anmin said seriously. Yes, Brother Feng, don't worry, as soon as we said we were going with you, our families agreed. Lin Feng. Lin Feng was helpless again. It turned out that he was still using his own name. Lin Feng held his forehead and felt a little troubled. Helpless. Okay. These two funny guys are together. I guess it will be fun on this journey. Lin Feng looked at the two of them helplessly and said. Okay, let's go eat first. Okay. After that, Liang Wei and Zhang Anmin hugged each other's shoulders and walked towards the restaurant in the service area. Their steps were extremely cheerful. Lin Feng shook his head helplessly. Zhang Yuxi looked at the two funny people and couldn't help laughing on her face. Chapter 973. What does it mean to be the first time? Lin Feng gently pulled Zhang Yuxi's hand. He smiled helplessly. My dear wife, it seems that our world of two is over. Zhang Yuxi held Lin Feng's hand tightly and said with a smile. It's okay, it's just right that you don't have to be so bored along the way. Seeing that Zhang Yuxi was not unhappy, and was so considerate of him, afraid that he would be bored while driving, Lin Feng's heart was full of touch. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi with a doting face, and held her hand tighter. Brother Feng, hurry up. I'm starving. The voices of Liang Wei and Zhang Anmin came from the front. Lin Feng. Then he looked at Zhang Yuxi and smiled, and walked forward holding hands. Soon, several people ordered a few dishes and sat down. The food was average, there was no way, the service area was in this condition, what else did you want? A bicycle? Zhang Anmin went to buy a few bottles of drinks and handed them to everyone with a smile. He looked at Lin Feng with a wretched smile on his face. Brother Feng, are you surprised? Are you pleasantly surprised? Lin Feng. I'm surprised. Lin Feng rolled his eyes at Zhang Anmin and said unhappily. Fuck you. It's more like being frightened. Also, put away your wretched smile along the way, or I won't care if you get beaten. Oh, Brother Feng, this is obviously a cute smile, okay. How am I wretched? Old Zhang Anmin said with a look of grievance. Lin Feng chose to ignore him. Zhang Anmin spoke to Zhang Yuxi. Sister-in-law Yuxi, please judge for yourself, how am I wretched? Let me tell you, Brother Feng bullies me all day long. Huh? Lin Feng frowned and looked at him. Burp. Zhang Anmin looked embarrassed and didn't dare to speak. Puff. Zhang Yuxi looked at the two people's funny looks and couldn't help laughing. Lin Feng and his friends really have a good relationship. Then the food came, and they ate and talked, laughing constantly. It's hard not to be happy when Li Yangwei and Zhang Yanmin, two funny guys, get together. After lunch, they rested in the service area, filled up the car with gas, and continued to set off. Since there are two more funny guys, Li Yangwei and Zhang Yanmin, the original itinerary needs to be changed. Just now at lunch, several people discussed and planned to go to Mount Tai today, and get up tomorrow morning to climb the mountain to watch the sunrise. So they walked and stopped along the way, and finally entered the territory of Mount Tai in the evening. Several people drove all the way to the hotel they had booked in advance, parked the car, and went into the hotel lobby to check in. Click. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi opened the door of the hotel room and walked into the room with their luggage. This time, Lin Feng still booked a suite in the hotel. After all, he didn't lack that little money, so it was better to live comfortably. After putting away his luggage, Lin Feng lay on the sofa and didn't want to move. Although he had the physique of a first-class soldier in the special forces, he couldn't stand driving for a whole day. He was fine physically, but he was a little tired of driving. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng slumped on the sofa, looking a little tired. She felt a little distressed. She gently sat next to Lin Feng and said with a distressed look, "Lin Feng, you've worked hard. Are you very tired?" Lin Feng touched Zhang Yuxi's hair and said softly, "Little fool, I'm not tired, I just feel a little tired after driving for a long time." Lin Feng, let me give you a massage. Zhang Yuxi also said gently. Wife, do you know this? Lin Feng asked with some doubts. Oh, I don't know, but I can learn. Zhang Yuxi said shyly. That's great, I have to enjoy my wife's first time. Lin Feng laughed. Pup. Zhang Yuxi's face turned red all of a sudden. Two red clouds appeared on her delicate little face. This big bad guy. What do you mean by first time? So bad. Humph. Ha ha ha. Seeing Zhang Yuxi's blushing face, Lin Feng couldn't help but laugh. If you laugh again, I won't help you. Humph. Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at him and said softly. Hiccup. Okay, I won't laugh anymore. Lin Feng stopped laughing and said seriously. Puff. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng's silly look and couldn't help laughing. Then she gently rested Lin Feng's head on her legs and helped Lin Feng press his temples. Hiss. The icy little hand made Lin Feng feel comfortable. Lin Feng thought, don't mention it, Zhang Yuxi's technique is quite comfortable. Maybe it's mainly a psychological effect, haha. Zhang Yuxi gently helped Lin Feng press his head, and Lin Feng slowly relaxed. After a while, he fell asleep on Zhang Yuxi's legs. A slight snoring sound was heard. Zhang Yuxi looked down and saw that Lin Feng was asleep. Lin Feng still had a slight smile on his face when he fell asleep. Zhang Yuxi couldn't help showing a sweet smile on her face. This fool was still smiling even when he fell asleep. What a bad guy. Then Zhang Yuxi stopped what she was doing and leaned gently on the sofa, fearing that she would wake up Lin Feng. After an unknown amount of time, Lin Feng woke up and slowly opened his eyes. What came into view was Zhang Yuxi's little face with a sweet smile. Lin Feng reached out and touched her little face, and spoke softly. Yuxi, how long have I slept? About 2 hours. Zhang Yuxi responded with a smile. Oh. Lin Feng quickly moved his head off Zhang Yuxi's legs, struggled to get up, and said with some heartache. Little fool, I slept on you for 2 hours like this. Why don't you put me down? It's so hard for you. Seeing Lin Feng blaming himself, Zhang Yuxi smiled and shook her head. It's okay, I just want to watch you quietly. Lin Feng hugged Zhang Yuxi into his arms and said gently. Little fool, don't do this again in the future, I will feel bad if you do this. Zhang Yuxi nodded and didn't say anything else. The two hugged for a while. Lin Feng looked out the window and it was already dark. So he spoke softly. Wife, let's go eat. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded. Then the two of them packed up a little and went out. Called Li Yangwei and Zhang Yanmin, the four of them went downstairs to eat together. Brother Feng, if you don't come, I will starve to death in the room, woo woo woo. In the elevator, Zhang Yanmin, the old Zhang, said aggrievedly while holding his stomach. Get out. I'm hungry, can't you go eat by yourself? Lin Feng rolled his eyes at him and said. Brother Feng, I just want to eat with you, woo woo woo. Lin Feng. Lin Feng's face was dark. Goosebumps appeared all over his body. he said with a look of disgust. Old Zhang, if you keep whimpering, I'll chop you up and feed you to the fish. Oh, Zhang Anmin looked embarrassed. Ha ha ha. Lin Feng on the side couldn't help laughing. Chapter 974. There is no free lunch in the world. Several people found a restaurant near the hotel, ordered some local specialties at random, and ate with relish. During the meal, several people had fun and laughed continuously. During the meal, Lin Feng and Zhang Anmin also ate dog food. The two finally experienced what Zhou felt like. This feeling. It's really painful. After dinner, several people planned to walk around to digest the food, and then go back to sleep. After all, you have to get up in the early morning to watch the sunrise. The four of them took a walk and unknowingly walked to the local night market street. It was very lively here. The stalls on both sides of the street sold some local specialties. Several people looked around curiously. There are really all kinds of strange things. In the end, several people even found that some small gadgets in the Magic City were sold here. And the store owner kept recommending them to buy, saying that this is a good thing. This made several people laugh. After several people strolled for a while, they came to the hardware store and planned to buy some tools such as flashlights. After all, we are going to climb Mount Tai in the early morning tomorrow, and we need these. After buying things, several people strolled around casually, and the food was almost digested. Suddenly, several people were attracted by the aroma of barbecue food on the street, so they had another midnight snack. Not to mention, the taste of barbecue here is indeed very different from that in the Magic City. The barbecued meat skewers are big, and they are tender and juicy, and then you can't help swallowing your saliva when you look at them. Not to mention eating. Even Zhang Yuxi couldn't help eating 2 skewers of barbecued meat that were crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. Then the stomachs that had just been digested by several people swelled up again. The 4 people smiled at each other. Forget it, I have to walk around to digest the food again. Several people strolled along the way, and the night breeze blew away some of the sultry heat in this summer, bringing a faint sense of coolness. Walking and walking, suddenly found that there were a lot of people watching something in the square in front. I saw Zhang Anmin opened his mouth excitedly. Brother Feng, there seems to be something going on over there, shall we go over and take a look? Lin Feng glanced at him and found that besides him, Lin Feng also looked curious. Helplessly, he had to nod. So several people walked towards the crowd. When they got closer, they saw a cardboard box on the stall. There were several little mice in the box, and there were several holes on the cardboard box, with amounts ranging from 10 to 100 yuan written above the holes. The stall owner kept shouting, 10 yuan to play once, choose a little mouse, as long as the little mouse enters a hole, you can get the amount marked above the hole. It attracted a group of people to surround the stall owner to watch a few little mice running in the box. Several people have already played, some got nothing, and some made hundreds of yuan. Lin Feng took a look, haha, isn't this a common street scam in the previous life? In the previous life, when all kinds of fraud knowledge were popularized, I'm afraid even elementary school students would know that this is a scam. The little mouse has been trained. As long as the boss applies the corresponding special smell potion on the corresponding hole during the operation, the little mouse will drill into that hole. This is basically a business that is guaranteed to make money. As for those so-called people who have made hundreds of dollars, there is no doubt that they are agents. Lin Feng didn't expect to encounter such a scam here. At this time, Lin Feng and Zhang Anmin looked surprised, and even Zhang Yuxi was curious. Seeing that Lin Feng and Zhang Anmin were eager to try, Lin Feng pulled them and whispered in a voice that only a few people could hear. Don't play, it's a scam. Although several people were a little confused, since Lin Feng said so, they chose to believe Lin Feng. Although it was none of their business, Lin Feng still planned to expose this scam to prevent more people from being deceived. He whispered to Zhang Yuxi to let her call the police. Then Lin Feng stepped forward and said to the boss, "Boss, can I catch the little mouse myself?" The stall owner was stunned and hesitated. Lin Feng smiled and said jokingly, "Boss, what's wrong? Are you embarrassed? Then can I assume that there is something fishy going on here?" The stall owner looked at Lin Feng, a little confused. Then the people next to him started to make a noise. Hey, boss, is there really something fishy going on? When we were playing just now, you were the one who caught the mice. Yes, hurry up, I want to play again, and I want to catch the mice myself. Are you scared now? If there is nothing fishy, why would you have such an expression? Fuck him, I just lost hundreds of dollars in a row here. You really have something fishy going on." Hearing what everyone said, the stall owner's face became even more panicked. Now everyone watching concluded that there was really something fishy going on. Then the stall owner and the people next to him looked at each other and said hurriedly, "We're here today, we're closed." He was going to pack up and run away after he was done. How could Lin Feng let him go? He had even called the police. How could he let you run away? Lin Feng walked straight up and blocked the stall owner. At this time, the onlookers saw Lin Feng like this, and they also surrounded the stall owner. Everyone now knew that this stall owner was a liar. Lin Feng said to the stall owner with disdain, "The police will be here soon. I suggest that you better stay here honestly, otherwise I can't guarantee what the onlookers will do to you." And those few people saw that the situation was not good, and quietly withdrew from the crowd and ran away. Lin Feng didn't plan to chase him, he was afraid that the onlookers would be injured. Anyway, if this one was caught, the others would probably not be able to escape. Soon the police came. After understanding the situation, they praised Lin Feng for his courage to expose the scam, and then took the stall owner away in the police car. As for the onlookers who lost money, they also got back their losses. Everyone thanked Lin Feng. Lin Feng waved his hand casually, and then took Zhang Yuxi's hand and took Li Yangwei and the others away. On the way back to the hotel, the old ginger Jiang Anmin asked Lin Feng with curiosity, "Brother Feng, how did you find out that this was a scam?" Lin Feng glanced at him and said casually, "As long as you think about one thing clearly, you will understand." "What is it?" Old Jiang Anmin asked anxiously. Even Li Yangwei was looking at Lin Feng curiously at this time, waiting for Lin Feng's answer. Lin Feng glanced at the two of them and slowly spoke. "Except for doing good deeds, there is no free lunch in this world. Do you think that boss looks like he is doing good deeds?" Old Jiang Anmin and Li Yangwei nodded with a look of confusion. And Zhang Yuxi understood what Lin Feng said. 9 out of 10 of these things on the street are scams. As long as you don't take advantage of small gains, you won't be fooled. Chapter 975 Watching the Sunrise Together. Soon, several people returned to the hotel where they were staying. It was getting late, so they returned to their hotel rooms. "Yuxi, go take a shower. Go to bed early later. You've been tired after sitting in the car all day." Lin Feng rubbed Zhang Yuxi's hair and spoke gently. "Yes." Zhang Yuxi nodded, and went back to the room to get clothes and take a shower. Lin Feng took out his mobile phone and sent a message to his parents and Zhang Yuxi's parents to report that he was safe. Then his mother called. After chatting for a while, he hung up the phone. Lin Feng turned on the TV and watched it casually. Soon, Zhang Yuxi also took a shower. While wiping her hair, she walked to the living room. Lin Feng looked up and his eyes were straight. Zhang Yuxi wore a one-piece nightgown tonight. The silk nightgown was close-fitting, and the big and small figure were fully revealed. Tisk tisk tisk. Lin Feng felt that his nose was about to bleed. Zhang Yuxi looked up and saw Lin Feng like this, and her face instantly turned red to the root of her neck. Although she and Lin Feng were already very close, she was still very shy and her face would easily turn red. She blushed and rolled her eyes at Lin Feng, saying coquettishly, "HMPH, come and help me blow my hair." Lin Feng was awakened by her voice, and when he came to his senses, he said quickly, "Yes, my dear wife." Then he quickly got up and went to the bathroom to get the hairdryer. Zhang Yuxi sat on the sofa, enjoying Lin Feng's service. Her little face was full of pride. After blowing her hair, Lin Feng threw the hairdryer away. He threw Zhang Yuxi directly onto the sofa and kissed her on the face. "Oh, I've already taken a shower." "Stop it, you're so dirty, go take a shower quickly," Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. After Lin Feng took another puff, he got up with satisfaction and went to take a shower. Zhang Yuxi got up and tidied up her messy nightgown, rolled her eyes at Lin Feng. She murmured, "You big bad guy. You just know how to bully others." Humph. Soon, Lin Feng finished his shower. Seeing that it was already 10:30, it was getting late, so he had to take a few hours of rest. So the two of them lay on the bed to rest. After Lin Feng set the alarm on his phone for 1 a.m., he threw the phone on the bedside table beside him. "Turn off the lights. Close your eyes." The two of them hugged each other and fell asleep. Soon they fell asleep, mainly because they were really tired today. Ding-ling-ling. Ding-ling-ling. At 1 a.m., the alarm rang on time. Lin Feng woke up from his dream, opened his eyes, reached out to touch the phone, and took it. He saw that it was 3 o'clock in the morning, so he turned on the light in the room and woke Zhang Yuxi up. No, I'll sleep a little longer. Zhang Yuxi was naughty and refused to get up. So Lin Feng kissed her on the face. Lin Feng's slightly immature stubble made Zhang Yuxi's little face a little itchy. She woke up soon. Ouch! Go away, your stubble is pricking me. Zhang Yuxi pushed Lin Feng away and said coquettishly. Ha ha ha. Get up, lazy pig. We still have to watch the sunrise. I don't want to, or you can hold me up to get up. Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Lin Feng saw that she was so cute when she was being naughty. Okay, I'll hold you up to get up. I really can't do anything about you. Then Zhang Yuxi sat on the bed and stretched out her hands, looking at Lin Feng with a smile on her face. Lin Feng picked her up. Zhang Yuxi stuck to him like an octopus. At this time, Lin Feng thought of Li Yangwei and Zhang Yanmin, and didn't know if they got up. So he picked up his phone and called Li Yangwei. Soon, the call was connected. It turned out that the two were excited all night. The two chatted all night and didn't sleep at all. At this time, they were already washing up. Lin Feng was a little speechless. These two guys. They will have a hard time later. Soon the two finished washing up, changed into mountaineering equipment, and then came down to meet up with Zhang Anmin and the others. Yesterday, several people checked today's sunrise time, which was about 6 o'clock. Now it is 2 o'clock in the morning. On the way, several people bought steamed buns and soy milk at a 24-hour convenience store. After eating, they drove all the way to the foot of Mount Tai. After parking the rear car in the parking lot, it was only 2:20 at this time. Lin Feng put water, snacks and some equipment into the bag and carried it on his back. At this time, the sky was still dark. Several people held a flashlight and set off. Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's hand and walked all the way. The mountain road was rugged. Although there were steps, it was extremely steep. After climbing for half an hour, Zhang Anmin had already started to shout that he couldn't do it anymore. Several people rested for a few minutes, drank some water, replenished some physical strength, and then continued to set off. Zhang Anmin shouted all the way that he was going to die, but he still persisted. Along the way, Lin Feng saw that Zhang Yuxi was exhausted, so he carried his backpack in front and carried Zhang Yuxi on his back. The group walked and stopped. Finally, at about 5:40, the four of them arrived at the Rigwen peak of Mount Tai. At this time, it was less than 20 minutes before sunrise. Lin Feng and his group stood on the top of the peak, looking towards the east. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi held hands and turned their heads to look at each other. Their eyes were full of love. People often say that a person must watch a sunrise with his or her significant other in his or her lifetime. This is a meaningful thing and can become a beautiful memory in the future. At this time, the two of them were looking forward to it. Fortunately, Li Yangwei and Zhang Anmin were enjoying the scenery at this time and did not notice their movements. Otherwise, they would definitely be stuffed with dog food again. Soon the time came to 6 o'clock. At that moment, the red silk curtain-like horizon opened a corner, and an arc-shaped edge of the sun appeared, and it rose hard, becoming a semicircle, emitting strong light, tearing the surrounding red silk curtains to pieces. There was only white fog between the mountain peaks. About 7 or 8 minutes later, a fish belly white appeared in the eastern sky, so soft and so bright. It kept expanding, as if it was going to drown the mountains. Its bottom was slightly red, and the clouds around it also turned white. After a while, the red deepened, the scope became larger and larger, and it also illuminated the surrounding areas. At this time, the eastern sky turned red, and at the easternmost end of the overlapping peaks, the red was the thickest and brightest, as if a burning fire was spreading and expanding. The semicircle kept rising, becoming more and more round, like a fireball dancing in the sky, and finally broke free from the ground. The light gradually became a gently dancing brilliant ribbon, flowing freely in the eastern sky. It makes people forget themselves, blend into nature, and stand between the sky and the earth. It is so small that it is invisible, and so huge that the mountains and the sky are connected. It seems that there is a force tearing the darkness, wanting to wake up the world in the darkness. The tearing may be a kind of pain, and after this pain, there will be bright and brilliant rays of light, and the singing and laughter of the sunrise in the east. The bleeding horizon is gradually brightening in the dark clouds, cutting through the thick obstacles, and rebirth into the hope of new life. This is the emotion brought by the first ray of dawn. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.